Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new Ike Live. The show is brought to you by some amazing companies, including the presenting sponsor of Ike Live, Mystery Tackle Box MTB. It's like happiness right to your doorstep once a month. Mystery Tackle Box puts brand new lures, hot items in your hand once a month. Listen to me. Use the promo code Ike Live. Get 30% off your first Elite box or 50% off your first Pro box. That's unbelievable. Also brought to you by Tin Cup Whiskey. God, I love whiskey. This is American style whiskey cut with Rocky Mountain water. It's got a classic finish to it. I personally love the rye. It's got a little bit of a bold, spicy finish. You're going to love this stuff. Straight from the Rockies to your glass. Also brought to you by TH Marine, the maker of great marine products, from everything from a John boat to a Biggie Smalls yacht. That's TH Marine. Go to thmarine.com, use the promo code Ike Live, and get $10 off a $50 order or more. Unbelievable. Brought to you by Flambeau, the makers of the best tackle storage systems in the world, including the brand new Crank Bank and Blade Crate. Of course, every single Flambeau tackle storage system has Z-Rust incorporated to help keep your hooks rust-free. Go to flambeauoutdoors.com, use the promo code Ike Live, and get 20% off your entire order. That's unbelievable. Brought to you by Founders Beer. God, I love Founders. I'm such a beer guy, and I like all styles of beer. Founders makes them. I want you to go to foundersbrewing.com, or even better yet, download the Founders app. And by doing that, you can find out what dealer or bar has Founders right near you. Also, they're going to keep you ahead of the curve on brand new beer releases. That's foundersbrewing.com. This show's brought to you by Liquid Mayhem. Scent matters. Listen to me. If you want to catch more fish, if you want to catch bigger fish, try some Liquid Mayhem, put it on your favorite lure, and you're going to get bit. Go to liquidmayhem.com, use the promo code Ike Live. You ready for this? For 25% off your order of the best scent on the market, Liquid Mayhem. Also brought to you by Heshy Socks. That's right, Heshy Socks. Who doesn't love a good, comfortable, well-fitting sock? And guess what? The Ike Live crew had a hand in this, and we've got specially designed Ike-style socks just for you. Cushioned foot and toe, stay-up technology, and they've got a technology built in there where they won't stink. This is unbelievable, okay? Great designs, under $10 with the code Ike Live at heshywear.com. Also, they have Ike Foundation design socks. All proceeds go to the Ike Foundation. Brought to you by Torqeedo Motors, the leader in electric motor drives. If you're one of the guys like me, you have a tiny boat, you have a John boat, you live on an electric-only lake, get a Torqeedo if you want to be the fastest, most efficient boat on the water. Go to torqeedo.com. And last but not least, the Ike Live show is brought to you by Hobie Kayaks. Hobie is the Cadillac of kayaks, and kayak fishing is changing the world. Easy access, easy to get into. I want you to go to Hobie.com to check out their large array of kayak products, including the one that I use, the Hobie 360. Listen to me. Prepare yourself. Get your popcorn. Get your Founder's Beer and Tin Cup Whiskey. Get ready for a brand new Ike Live show coming up live right now. Come on, let's watch. Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new Ike Live. The show is brought to you by folks at home, how you doing tonight? Welcome to a brand new Ike Live show, and we're keeping the hits coming. We got another really good one for you tonight. This is a special one. You ready? Al Linder. That's right, the one and only Al Linder joining us tonight live right here on the show. In studio with us, we got a great crew tonight. Sitting to my right, going to hang with us just for a little bit, the one and only Miss Rebecca. How you doing tonight, Beck?
I'm good.
Good. I got to ask you who you're wearing tonight. Looks very loungy and relaxing. Who is that?
I'm wearing my Urban Outfitters sweats, and I have my special Mrs. Ike shoes, if you can see them.
Miss Ike shoes,
Mrs. Ike.
designed by James Riley. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here, Beck.
Thank you.
Sitting to my left, braving the elements, dangerous, icy conditions to get here, the one and only Dave Brodzik. How you doing, Dave?
Good.
Good to see you.
Treacherous.
Treacherous, right? How do you know it? So you got a big truck. It's filled with gas. Everything's good. But how do you know it's treacherous? Sliding all over the place
Yeah, when you slide off the road, it's a pretty good indicator.
Right.
You shouldn't be driving around.
The entire way, or when you got down to Hickville down here?
No, your spillway.
Yes.
I went over that at about
Bridges.
15 miles an hour. It was just like almost to the other side.
Right.
And part of the, what is that, Buck Road that leads into here? Couple patches on that where the wind blows across the barren farmlands.
Right.
You know, but where the trees are, it's still wet.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. It's dangerous out there. Joining us, producing the show, doing a great job forever and ever, but especially the last 5 or 6 shows, Bri, we've had some great ones. Brian Carpenter produced for us tonight. Bri?
Yeah.
Let's have you in studio.
Chili cheese, bro.
Real quick, let everybody know. I know already there's people chiming in the IM board are saying, what in the hell does Brian Carpenter have on tonight? But Brian, explain this. Show everybody and explain this a little bit.
What, the hockey jersey already?
Yeah, this is a piece of history.
Yeah.
What do you have on here?
It's just the ball hawks, bro, back in the day.
Yeah,
This
one
was
of
us.
our hockey teams.
Yeah, ball hockey.
Yeah.
I can't see. I got to move some stuff. Keep moving.
All right, keep moving. Street hockey. And then, of course, joining us via the Zoom machine, we've got Riz handling IMs and other things tonight. Rizzo, how you doing?
Doing great, man. It's like the frozen tundra out there. I'm excited to talk to a bass fishing legend tonight. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, me too. And last but definitely not least, we've got the one only Dean, the crust of the show, Pete Glusick. Pete, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Watched Bassmaster live today.
Yep.
Getting all revved up, watching them catch giants down in Florida, just getting us all psyched for the fishing season. So
yeah,
I'm doing good.
Me too.
Yeah.
I tell you, I'm psyched for the show tonight, Pete. We got to talk to him a little bit in the green room for just a minute or two, but dude, this is one of our heroes coming on tonight.
If there's no question, I mean he's been on television teaching and helping us for, I don't know, 30 years or more. I guess we're going to find out. Tournament winner, just absolute legend. And from a personal standpoint, it was, and you may feel this way too, he was, remember how hard it was being from the north to be able to be successful?
Oh,
yeah. And he really cut the path for guys like us.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So I can't wait to dive in with Al. I'm very excited. I'm a big fan.
I'm stoked too. And you're right. We're going to talk to him about that. He was definitely from an unorthodox area, did a lot for people that weren't from the South trying to get into the sport. We're going to talk about that. You did mention something too, Pete, real quick, that I think it's a good time to bring up, which is I was also fixated today on the lives, and I had my laptop fired up, and I went back and forth between the Toyota, the whatever the MLF event is on Okeechobee, and the tournament on the St. John's. And, you know, Becky was, I think, you know, I watched it for a couple hours, just kind of sitting there, and at one point, like, Beck was in the kitchen working, and she looked up at me, and she's like, "Are you okay?" She asked me, she's like, "Am I okay?" And I'm like, yeah, I guess. You know, and honestly, like that was my feeling today watching those lives. And
a little bummed out.
Yeah, yeah. For those of you watching and listening right now, never really made an official announcement, but I'm not fishing a full top-level tour this year. I'm going to be fishing Northern Bass Opens, Northern Toyota Series, and it was a little strange and awkward, you know, watching. Like, and the best way I can describe it, Pete, is it was like a straight 50-50 cut down for me. 50% of me was watching and feeling like, God, I miss it. Like, man, I wish I was there in the mix, even though I hate Florida. You know, half of me is like, God, I wish I was there mixing it up. Man, I would have done that, you know, or I would have tried that, you know, and you're missing it, missing elements of it. I did it for 25 years, for crying out loud. But the other 50% of me, dude, I'm in my couch, chilling out in a warm house. I'm watching guys lose big ones, stressed out. I'm watching guys, you know, pulling their hair out because they can't get a bite. And I'm like, God, I don't miss that shit at all.
I know.
You know what I mean? So it's very, very mixed emotions for
I
me.
mean, Gary Klaus, who's dominating the tournament on day 3, you know, today just it went through the ringer that we've all been through. You know, you're pulling your hair out like, what happened? What's my next move? You know? Yeah. I didn't think about it from your perspective. That had to be very emotional for you to go through that for the first time.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird, you know. It was definitely a weird moment, but
I think it showed that you're good. You're ready.
I'm good. I'm ready for a change.
Yeah.
You know, I'm ready for a change, and you know, we've got some big things lined up that are going to happen, plus the other parts of the business. This is, you know, we're not just a tour fisherman. There's a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff in the works.
So I'm ready to try this and see how it goes. You know, so that excitement, you know, sort of glazed over.
How about you, Pete? How do you take watching it?
Well, you know, I like Mike. You know, I remember when I did the first year I didn't fish the bass when the Elite started, I was depressed. I mean, I couldn't watch tournaments. I couldn't even go near it because I felt very sad. Like, man, that's where I was supposed to be, and you know, it had all these weird emotions, and I couldn't watch it. It took me a long time. It took me several years before, you know. Actually, I talked about it before. The Ike Live show got me back into being a fan of the sport because I had to start watching again. I had to start because we were all talking about it. So I started watching the tournaments, and you know, now I feel like I can't wait. I can't wait for the live. So I was thrilled watching it for the first time, you know, today, and watching it all the way through. And I can't wait for the next one. Can't wait to watch tomorrow.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Does Bass have full audience at their places in Florida? Because Florida
They
seems
did.
to be the only place open.
Did they?
They did. They had a, you know, I didn't watch the weigh-in at Okeechobee, but I watched the one at St. John's, and they were everybody coming across the stage was commenting. Now I didn't see any video clips of the audience, but they were all commenting that it was a pretty crowded scene down there,
Right.
and thanking the audience for coming. You know, you could hear the applause erupt. You know,
Yeah. That's
a lot of guys. I heard guys coming over from the MLF commenting. You know, maybe because they hadn't seen an audience like that for a while.
Right.
So you know, that
People.
was.
Yeah.
Get a-
People.
get a
What's
Flo-
that?
Yeah.
Get a Florida Classic next March.
Yeah. Maybe.
Well,
Well,
I know that nobody asked me, but I feel like I should volunteer this information. How does Becky feel
yeah. How do you feel?
about not having Mike in a tournament?
Yeah. How do you feel?
How do you
Great
feel,
question.
Beck?
It's a great
It was-
question for yourself.
It was beautiful. It was
Oh!
so lacking emotion and a
I like
roller
it.
coaster.
No roller
The
coaster.
stress level, I think wrinkles relaxed
Yes.
on
Yeah.
my face.
You got
Your
younger.
forehead does look a lot tighter.
Right? I think it
Look at that,
happened
Dave. Look
over
at
a
that
matter of
forehead.
days. It was
Big, shiny
it was a
forehead.
breath of fresh air. I'm telling you, every tournament that we'd go into for the last 15 years, the anxiety, and then you'd be watching live during the day to watch that person, and you can't help them in any way, shape, or form, but you know you're taking the brunt of the happy or the pissed off at the end of the day. That's hard, and so
Yeah.
it was really nice
Yeah.
to watch a soccer game
Yeah, we watched a soccer game. We went to the seafood market. We went sledding.
We went sledding. It was really
had
nice.
a vasectomy. You know,
That's right.
So we just threw that in today.
simple things like that.
That was
you know?
today?
No, that wasn't today.
Thursday,
So
Tuesday.
Let me and before I get into this next story,
I thought you were.
no, I do. I think that's. I agree with that. I agree
Yeah.
with that. The stress level. But with any professional sport comes stress, and it you know it wears on you. You know, and
well,
it wears
I
on your
still talk with
spouse.
all my friends, all the
Yeah.
bass wives. We have threads together. And
Yeah.
we text each other, and I felt bad for all of them, but I secretly just couldn't even comment because I was like, oh, man, this
is
feels
nice.
good. I am so not you guys today. Like, and I felt
It's
bad
nice.
that
Yeah.
I felt that way.
Yeah.
But I was like, ha ha.
Yeah.
ha,
Well, we're
not me.
gonna Pete. We'll definitely ask Al when he comes on here in a little bit. He's been through a similar scenario where he competed professionally.
Yeah, and he chose to step away early.
He chose.
Yeah.
He saw this crossroads coming,
Absolutely.
and he chose he went right instead of left. And
Yeah.
you know, I want to ask him how he dealt with it and how he feels, and it's obviously worked for him. So
For sure.
to bring it back up, and I think you're right. We weren't going to mention this, but I don't care. This is like live. You got to tell the truth. So we had been thinking about this forever. We have 4 amazing kids, and Dave, we all have Pete. We all have
We all have Pete.
and Brian. We all have children, and you get settled to a point where you're happy with your. You know, we've got 4 kids, right? We're happy. We've been talking for years about, you know, permanently shutting off the faucet on one side or another. And with me not fishing a tour this year, with the way the schedule laid out,
You're it.
we saw this window of opportunity. And I said, oh, screw it. I said, Beck, you've been through enough. Jesus, you've had 2 C-sections, all the other stuff, you know, female issues, whatever. So,
Goodness gracious.
no, I just want to talk about it. Our fans want us to be.
Wait, this is the deflection.
So-
This is where he
yeah,
deflects
yeah.
it, right?
No,
Suddenly,
I'm just-
Becky's
so-
stress level has increased.
Distraction tactics.
It's not distracting. So I scheduled an appointment, and it's easy. It's like, oh yeah, you want it done? Cool. And like literally, like, you know, months ago, like went to the doctor and they wrote down like, oh yeah, this date, 2:00, cool. And then as it got closer, like we realized that the day that I scheduled my vasectomy was Vegas's birthday. The irony of that,
All right.
Dave.
How ceremonious.
Wow.
To get your nuts cut off on your son's birthday.
So now, like, sometimes you don't take pain well. I'm wondering,
Yeah.
like, did the medical office have to send a group of people out to, like, carry you in on, like, one of the
No.
King Tut throne chairs?
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
He
while you were strapped
seriously-
down to it?
I was ready. I was ready
Yeah.
for the drama. He took it like a trooper.
Yeah, no,
He
it wasn't
really-
that bad. It wasn't that bad. The whole process. We've had horror stories. You know, we got our good buddy Tom, who just had his birthday a couple days ago.
He did. Same day as Vegas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
had his vasectomy, and his nuts inflate it, and they never deflate it. So you know, there's issues
According
that happen.
to.
But it was pretty cut and dry. You know,
Elephantitis.
Yeah.
pretty cut and dry.
They probably left, like, a stint in there and just didn't tell him. You know what I mean? Like, fully inflated stint.
Well, it was a Coast Guard doctor that probably
Yeah.
did it. He was probably smoking
Yeah.
a cigarette
Or
at
a
the
Yeah,
time.
the ashtrays in
Yeah.
there.
There's a butt in his ball sack.
A wrench.
Which is
Oh
great.
my God.
So that happened. But there's other big news I want to get to here real quick. And one is the telethon, Beck.
Yes.
The Ike Foundation telethon. Brian the Carpenter, tremendous job producing that show. Thank you,
Yep.
Brian.
I just
Thanks,
did what you guys said to
No,
do.
you did excellent. And of course, Pete was involved, and Riz, and all of everybody here helped that night. It was a huge success. You want to
Huge.
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Huge success.
Yeah, if anyone missed it, the telethon had to replace our on-site event that we always have, the scholarship dinner, 300 plus people. It's a blast, and we needed to find a way to fundraise. So we decided to try a telethon. Who knew? It was insane. Our goal was $25,000. A few days after the event was over, we had raised over $30,000.
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great job.
So it was a
man.
huge success. We know that we can fund the scholarship fund. We know that we already can put rods and reels into the hands of kids, thanks to everybody.
Yeah.
So we have big plans. You know, we do have June 5th. The Pro-Am is coming up.
Yes.
We do have the September date for the kayak tournament. We've got another virtual tournament to fish against Mike
Starting in April.
coming up. So we're just going full speed ahead. There's a lot of things that we learned last year that we can't do because we can't gather in groups still. But I think we've kind of rolled with it
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah, it was a huge success, and the measure of that is we raised over $30,000, dude. That's incredible.
Yeah, man.
That's incredible.
That
I
was
mean,
great.
for this is a little organization, right? This isn't Jerry Lewis. This is just a bunch of dudes that like to fish. You know what I mean?
And the ladies.
And the ladies.
Yeah.
But I thought that was amazing that we're
Yeah.
you to raise
Yeah.
$30,000. So I
That's
want to
great.
thank everybody who watched and tuned in. And here's the thing, though, and I want you to say this too, which is it's not over, right? Like
Right.
raising money to get new kids fishing is an ongoing process. So
Yeah.
we are so thankful and so grateful, but at the same time, we need support.
Oh,
we need
yeah.
donations.
Yep,
we
we sure
still
do.
need help. So the one thing I want to reiterate from that foundation, which blew me away, was that for $30, if you donate $30 to the Ike Foundation, we could get a new kid fishing. Dude, that's when I like that they did that, because when you speak about it in those terms, it's like, dude, $30. Well, shit, I go to Tackle Warehouse. I spend that on the lure sometimes. Brian the Carpenter's spending it on $500 swim baits he's buying on Facebook.
Take it easy.
Or whatever he's doing.
Settle
But,
down.
He spent $100 at least.
at least. So I mean,
got a bank.
from those terms,
Deflection.
for $30,
Yep.
the Ike Foundation gets a kid a rod, reel, line, a box,
Yes.
and all that stuff.
Yeah. So there's a handful of ways that you can donate year-round. You can head over to the IkeFoundation.org. You can donate there. You can donate through Mike's website. You can donate through Facebook. You can go to Heshy Socks, heshywear.com. We have Ike Foundation socks. They're special Ike Foundation colors.
Yeah.
It's a $50 donation to the Ike Foundation.
Yeah.
It says, don't be confused. It's not a $50 pair of socks. You're
Yeah.
making that fully $50 donated to the Ike Foundation.
Yeah.
So there's a handful of ways. We can always use volunteers all over the country. If you are willing
Yeah.
to, get kids fishing, we want to support you. That's what the Ike Foundation does.
Yeah.
We're a small team, so basically we supplement people who are doing this across the country.
Yeah, so check it out if you can, IkeFoundation.org. Let me remind everybody, Riz, I forgot about this early in the show, but I did want to mention it. We do have a like and share going on, Riz, for this amazing Ike Life gift bag. And the thing, I'm telling you, the thing weighs a good 20, 22 pounds. What's the deal? Somebody could win this tonight, Riz. How can they do it?
Yeah, that's right. Tonight at the end of the show, we're going to randomly select one person who likes and shares tonight's feed. So if you're over on Facebook and you're watching the show tonight, just like the feed and then share the feed across the board. And at the end of the show tonight, we're going to select somebody to get that awesome Ike Live gift bag that's loaded with products from all our sponsors, like Heshy Socks.
There you go. Also, the beer of the night tonight, you're going to see them going around a little bit. We're drinking Founders Moon Rambler tonight. We also have some all-day IPA in there. And we're going to be kicking out the Tin Cup Rye tonight here in a little bit. We got a nice little restocking. We got some rye and some regular, but I think we're going to drink the rye tonight.
Hold on, Dave. Turn your mic
All
off.
right, there you go.
Because
Spiked it.
well, there's no way to take it off, Brian, without it sounding loud.
wait to me, Brian. Turn my mic off for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Rye's my favorite.
Rye's good. I like the rye, too. I personally like the rye. They're both good, but I like the rye. Speaking of virtual.
I like everything.
Speaking of virtual, the Ike Foundation went virtual with our telethon because we had to. Similar situation going on with the seminar world in 2021. Dude, listen to this. Every single boat show, seminar where you'd go and see pros has been canceled. You can't go. For us in the Northeast, you can't go to Massachusetts or Harrisburg or Edison or Chicago show. Dude, how many years have we went to these shows to see the pros and the Bass universities at different cities? And in response to COVID and all these shows being canceled, Bass U figured out a way to keep seminars going. Pete, I want you to talk about this a little bit. This is big. This is a big thing that Bass U's doing to keep instruction going even through this weird time right now.
Well, we're going to keep going, and actually we're advancing, I think, and putting together some great programs. The first of which is coming up this week. We're going to be on the 16th. We're going to be with Gerald Swindle and Buddy Gross. And that's going to be taking place this Tuesday. We're also going to be teaching again on Friday with a great host of characters, including our buddy John Cruz. the classic champ Hank Cherry and Brandon Cobb, and that's February 19th. One of the ones I'm most excited about, Mike, is on February 20th. We're going to have Jake Whitaker, Shane LaHue, but Patrick Walters is going to be teaching.
Wow, he's hot.
On February 20th. He's won two tournaments last year. We're going to make sure he wears those shorts.
Yeah, I love them.
And
no other way.
Yeah.
but he's stalking, he's sniping the bass out in front of the boat, forward facing sonar, his tactics and tricks in doing it. And he's doing it here again. He had 26 pounds doing it down on the St. Johns River.
He's got it mastered. Yeah.
He's definitely dialed in.
Yeah,
Sniping.
Yep. You guys, you come to that Zoom class, you can ask these guys questions one-on-one.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of great prizes. You get a $20 coupon from Rapala. You get gift cards we're giving away from Tackle Warehouse, from Flambeau, from a bunch of other companies, and it's a great time. So check it out, bassu.tv/ticket. You can go there and check it out, get yourself signed up. But I'm excited. Starts February 16th.
There you have it. And I love the premise. I mean, we did it as a way to combat not being able to go to shows physically. But I love it, Dave, because think about it. Like when we held shows before, we'd go to South Carolina or we go to Alabama or whatever. Dude, if you weren't within a couple 3-4 hour drive, you weren't going to go anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This opens it up to the whole country. I love that. And because of the Zoom technology, you can still interact. You can still ask questions, kid around. You can still have that closeness. So I think it's the future. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. All right, now I saved the best for last. And this for sure is when you talk about big news, Beck, and we've got our notes here. You talk about big news.
Huge.
In our little catch-up segment before we get to Al. This has to be the biggest news of the year.
Yes.
Honestly, like MLF buying FLW, dude, who cares? That doesn't even compare to
Doesn't
this
mean nothing to me
whatsoever. Bass cutting back the payouts $400,000 this year. Who cares? None of that matters.
There ain't nothing on there.
None of that matters.
He already sniffed it out.
All that fails in comparison to this news. And this is breaking news. If you're watching right now, if you've been a fan of the show for 7 years or however long we've been on.
Dude, hold on.
Yeah.
7 years, February 10th.
7 years, February 10th?
First show was February 10th.
Oh, my God. Dude, how old do you feel
2014.
now?
Wow.
So
2014.
So if you've been a follower of the show forever.
And we're so sorry that you have been.
Yeah, and you know how special and loved Dave is. We love Dave, and he's a very special individual, special character.
There he is.
Been very, very reluctant, Dave, all these years to technology, to the spotlight, to social media. You've always been like, you've been like that since you were a kid.
Yep. Somebody says right, he says wrong.
Right.
White, black.
So
left, right.
So to say that just I was shocked, but the world was shocked over a week ago when I looked on Instagram and I saw a Dave Brodzik Nature Fan Instagram account. Dave's on Instagram, everybody. Dave's on the gram, the Insta.
Everybody, please go follow.
Dude. First of all, please go follow Dave Brodzik Nature Fan. He's already got 5 posts in a week, more than Pete's had his whole life. Dave, tell me about this. This is unbelievable.
So I'll tell you what started it.
Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
No, not that great. But
Okay.
so Brian sent me a text about someone commenting about me on Instagram with about Sasquatch. So I clicked the thing and it wouldn't let me on there. So I created an account because I was having it caught me at a bad time. Normally I would just be like, someone's making fun of me, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to answer this MF if he's ripping on me. You know what I mean? So I created an account just to read it, and it was nothing. The dude was like,
everybody's on your team.
Yeah, everyone was on my team.
So it was a Sasquatch post. Dave's going deep. Now the election's over. Now it's all Squatch. 24/7 Squatch.
No, it's not.
Squatch end.
No, Q. I'm still half.
All right. Squatch and Q.
So it initiated as a defense response to To a post that Brian made.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's
okay.
what started. And I was like, all right, I'm already bored with that. I'm back to Telegram.
Back
Yeah.
to Telegram.
From Instagram to Telegram.
Telegram, so it was Twitter. Conservatives were allowed to be on Twitter. Then we got kicked off. Then we moved to Parler, and Parler got nuked. Now it's Telegram.
Oh goodness.
Oh,
Oh, that's a serious thing. Okay.
Telegram. Okay.
Great.
I actually thought he was sending Morse code out.
I did too.
All I know is you
Telegram's
made
an
a
app.
lot of people happy on Instagram. Making
Telegram's
anybody
an app.
happy on Telegram.
I've appreciated the post.
Dude, I love the post. I
5
love
for
the
5.
post. I've been following them all. I mean the prints.
I just don't like it. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know.
This is all lies. He just doesn't like the
And
spotlight.
here's
He doesn't like the
Here's
congratulations.
the thing, though, Dave, and I got to be honest with you. For someone that's never been on Instagram, less than your whole life, less than a week here, dude, I'm looking at just your amount of comments. You're averaging 20, 21, 27, 14, 15 comments, dude. There are top bass pros that make a post and don't get those comments. So, dude, people respond to what you're posting. People like what you're posting.
Yeah.
That's got to mean something.
You brought joy to the world, Dave.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Look at him.
I mean the
This is what I deal with every guy.
I mean I love the BMX post was
Oh, yes.
one of my
Dude,
favorites.
no,
I've got
so-
it on right here. This is one of my
Yeah, I've
favorites.
been working on a decade.
Yeah.
I got to get his front brakes fixed. That's his old bike. I got to get his front brakes fixed.
Is that a boomerang?
No, tail whip.
Tail whip. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I actually just got a text from Jeremiah Eads to make sure to let Dave know we're enjoying his Squatch posts. People like it, Dave.
People like it. All right, Dave.
You can't quit, Dave.
No, I don't want to quit.
Tell him, Beck.
Now, I'm not saying you have to make 5 posts a day,
Right.
but I like it. I think people want to see more, Dave. They really do.
Been waiting a long time.
Yeah, going back out in the woods tomorrow.
Yes.
Are you really?
On the other side of 206. I want to get. There's owls all over the place down there, and I really want to.
Al Lindner's?
I want to get in. I had a daytime sighting of an owl
Yeah.
in the summer. I got a
Yeah.
picture of it, but I want to get one in the winter with all the snow and stuff. I'm gonna get one. I have
That's
a good
cool.
area on the other side of 206.
206. Okay.
One of them daytime owls.
Yeah.
They come out.
Yeah.
They absolutely come out and
Yeah,
eat during. They're
yeah,
not just
they're rabid.
nocturnal. No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
Not at all, man.
Big news. I think that's the biggest news of the whole year, Beck. And congratulations to Dave for getting
All right, man. Let's
Please
get,
don't quit.
Yeah.
let's get to
It
it.
made all of us
All right,
happy.
listen to me. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm excited. This show tonight is all about Al Linder. I
Yes.
cannot wait to get Al on the phone.
Let's do
Legend of the sport, impacted so many people, including everyone here in the studio
Absolutely.
tonight. So hang in there with us. When we come back, the legend, the one and only Al Linder.
Yeah, that Mac.
You work hard to catch your fish. TH Marine has 2 products to ensure your fish survive. The Oxygenator injects 100% pure oxygen into your live well. That increases fish survival by 35%. For the perfect combo, add G-Juice live well treatment. It calms fish, stops bleeding, removes ammonia, and replaces slime coat. Get an Oxygenator and G-Juice and keep your fish alive.
At Founders Brewing, we asked ourselves, what if we brewed a beer perfect for any occasion? A beer that makes a weekday feel more like the weekend, and the weekend feel more like an adventure. What if we brewed a beer that brought us together and allowed us to be ourselves? A beer that is just as much of a companion as it is a reward at the end of the journey. What if we explored the unknown together and found a new way to celebrate taste and flavor and life's simple pleasures? And what if we brewed a beer that could go where you go without slowing you down? Founders All Day IPA, low ABV and full flavor that goes where you go. Perfect for any occasion.
We're excited to announce our brand new partnership with an amazing company, Heshi Socks. That's spelt Heshi Socks. Go to heshysocks.com to check out my brand new Mike Iaconelli collection. That's right, I have my own custom socks in tournament colors. I promise you, you will never, I mean never, find a more comfortable sock. The great news, all my socks are under $10 a pair when you use our promo code IKE20. Go to heshysocks.com, use the promo code IKE20 to get the most comfortable socks in the world. Hey everybody, welcome back to Ike Live. Got a brand new show for you tonight, Saturday. It's miserable out in a lot of parts of the world, and we've got a good one for you. Joining us in just a couple minutes, the one and only Linder in the house with us tonight. We've got Dave Brodzik sitting with us. We've got Brian the Carpenter producing. We've got Rizzo and Mr. Pete Glusick on the Zoom machine as well. Let me remind you, your questions and comments tonight are so important to this show. They make the show run. If you've got a question or a comment, please hit us up on the IM. Rizzo is going to be putting them through all night. Also, if you're watching over on social media, at Ike Live Show, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or on YouTube, send IMs. We're going to check those as well. If you're watching on Facebook, let me remind you, we've got the like and share thing going on right now. Like and share your feed over on Facebook. You're going to be entered in a contest to win the world-famous Ike Live gift bag. Wanted to catch you up on that. Also, before we get the show started, with Al, I want to give a thank you and a shout-out to all our military, active and veterans, men and women. Thank you guys for what you do. Policemen, firemen, EMT, doctors, thank you guys. It's a crazy world. We really, really appreciate what you do. Man, I am fired up about this guest, Dave. We've had, the last 4 or 5, 6 shows have been so good. And I keep saying to Brian, I keep saying, man, how are we going to top that last show? How are we going to top that last guest? And this is one that's going to do that. And
this is one of our last childhood legends and idols.
Dude,
to have on, right?
Yeah.
We had all the others.
Big time.
Almost, yeah.
Big time. And when you talk about inspiration and influence on all of us here, but on a large scale of people that fish right now, this guy is a legend. You use the word legend, he is a legend. Been a hero of mine since I was a kid. I almost can't even believe we have him on the show. That's how in awe I am. I almost can't believe we have him on the show. But I'm excited to get him on. Bri, do we have him waiting?
We're ready.
Now? All right, we're ready. Joining us now via the Zoom machine, the one and only Linder, everybody. Linder.
Zoom machine.
The Zoom machine.
Hi out there.
Woo!
Hi everybody.
Hi, Al.
Hey, I gotta apologize, Mike. I got a little issue with the light in here, the way the corner of my office is lit, but it is what it is, man.
We are. If this was a phone call, if it was smoke signals, we would take it. We are so excited to have you on this show tonight. Thank you for taking time out to come on this podcast, Al. We really appreciate it.
No, I consider it an honor. Looking really forward to it. We had a couple shots before, and I had a couple of personal problem that kind of put it on a hold the first time. So all works out, man.
It all worked out. Okay, first things first. Are you at home? How's the weather where you're at? Give us an update on what's going on.
I'm in my office in Brainerd, Minnesota now, and this morning when I woke up, it was 28 below zero. That's not wind chill, man. It's real world. Tonight, it's probably going to hit 30 below. So taking a look, doing a little late season adjusting. It's only going to last for another week, and then it'll finally blow itself out.
Oh my gosh, that is cold. Now we're complaining. We're complaining here. We've had weather in the teens and 20s and some freezing rain and snow, and we're complaining. But that's cold, Dave. That's real cold right there.
They're tough people up there.
They have to be.
That's uninhabitable.
It's uninhabitable.
That's what Ken Duke would say. That's uninhabitable.
Right. Well, Ken Duke's in Florida, so he would say that. Al, are you a big ice fisherman? You still doing a lot of ice fishing? Do you have?
I'm Mike. I did for a lot of years. I'm leaving that to the younger guys in my office now, Jimmy and Jeremy and Mike. These guys love it. It's a little piece of business for us. That's good. I don't. Those days are kind of gone. Yeah, you know, I kind of like the sunshine. I like open water, and that's what I'm dreaming about. I spent my whole day today watching St. John's River. I watched Major League Fishing in Texas today. I watched probably 15 other television fishing shows. That's how I spent my day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, I this is a little out of order, but I want to ask you right now because I did the same thing. Well, I think we all did. We all watched at some level today. And this coming up will be my first year in over 25 years that I have not fished a major tour. And when I watched today, you know, I had like mixed emotions. Like half of me was missing it and wishing I was there, and I was feeling a little sad. And the other half of me was excited to be home watching, to not have the stress, to not have the pressure, you know, all that stuff that goes with professional fishing. How do you feel? How do you feel all these years later watching it? You know, you were a great competitor. How do you feel? Do you miss it? Do you miss that competition at all?
I'll tell you how the impact. I had one of those forks in the road at the end of a Bassmaster Classic in Currituck Sound. Yep. And that was the first time I ever fished tidewater. And, you know, I fished the early parts of the BASS and a couple other tournament organizations that were trying to be a BCA Basscasters out of Mattoon, Illinois. Another one called American Bass out of Florida. They had their events in Florida, Georgia, Alabama. So as tournament fishing was developing, you know, I started to fish all of these. But, you know, a mainstay naturally was bass at that point in time. And I fished, you know, 3 classics. I won a couple events. And I was coming back from the classic in Currituck, and I had, at best, a so-so event. And I'm driving back from the airport in Minneapolis, coming back home with my wife, and she says, "Man, there's something heavy on you, man. What is it?" You know, I says, "Honey, I got to make a decision." Yeah. We're in one of those forks in the road. In-Fisherman's it's been like 3 years old. It's starting to grow. We're starting to make money. The television show is getting off the ground. You know, I'm split on this. I love tournament fishing. It's something I'm good at. I got a shot at making a good living in this business. I'm torn. I don't know which way to go, but we got to make a call. I fished this tournament mechanically and without you know what I'm talking about, mechanically. My mind was in the next television show, the magazine, it was the next appearance, and everything was mechanical. And I knew I couldn't get myself up. I says, we got to make a decision. I got to go one way or the other, babe. What are we going to do? Yeah. You know, so we make the call. Luckily, I made the call, and In-Fisherman is history after that. So that was one of those decisions that we all have to make. And I can look back at it. I fish in between. I fish some tournaments now, not so much in the last few years, but I still like the competitive end of it. But the competitive drive for me, Mike, actually went into the business and doing what we can do to make it one of the best television shows, the best mags, the best work I was able to do. And all my energy went in that direction.
I can tell you this, like, you know, when you look back on moments like that, we all have those moments in our life.
You bet.
I can, for one, tell you, I am so glad you took that right instead of that left and decided to do what you did, because you've impacted so many people, and it's unbelievable. I know you hear this all the time, but I got to tell it to you again. You have impacted so many people and have changed their life for the better. You know, for us here in the Northeast, you know, you were such an iconic figure for us, because I'm trying to think of a politically correct way to say it, but we really sort of felt like outcasts in the North and Northeast from a sport that was dominated mainly by Southern anglers. And,
I get it.
You know, so what you did and the level of teaching was so impactful for so many people. I can't even tell you. And and again, I'm getting chills just talking about it because, you know, you inspired so many people, and I'm so glad you decided to, you know, further In-Fisherman and the education rather than tournament fish. You would have kicked butt. You know, I know you would have went on to win many more tournaments. I do have some facts. If you're watching right now and you don't know how good Al was in these tournaments back in the day, let me throw some facts at you. You fished 26 events over with bass, and you came in the top 30 in 22 of the 26 events. For crying out loud, Al, you won 2 of them.
Yeah.
One on Watts Bar and one on Gadsden, which we know, you know, we're pretty familiar with the Virginia fishery. 3 classics. This is unbelievable. You caught a darn 10-pounder at Gadsden when you won that one in Virginia.
That was on Gaston.
Yeah, on Gadsden, flipping docks, for crying out loud.
Yeah, it came on a boat dock, man.
That's crazy. It's crazy. So I know you would have been amazing in that route, but I'm so glad life worked the way it did, and you were so inspirational for so many people. I do have to ask you this about the tournament world, though, because I encountered this in the 90s. So I want to flash back with you to the 70s and give me, how hard was it to be from Chicagoland area, to be from that part of the world, and to go rub elbows with these guys and compete with them? Was that difficult? Was there, you know, animosity toward you? Were you a Yankee? Were you all those things? Because I experienced this in the 90s. I'm sure you got a little bit of this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a little bit of it, but it was it's like any sport, Mike. There's no difference. You want to get their respect, start catching fish and beat them on the water.
Yeah.
What, then pretty soon, you know, you earn their respect. That's what you do.
Right.
That's simply the way it is. But it was there, yes. But not real bad. After I got to know them and fish, I particularly got, you know, it was in 78 when we decided, I said, when I finally did that split.
Yeah.
And that's where I got to know Dance and Roland. And at that point, Dance went into the TV business then. Billy Westmoreland quit that year. I believe that was the year Johnny Morris quit, and I quit. Johnny did pretty good for himself, by the way. Dance didn't do too bad. You know, we did okay.
That
was a pretty right call, Mike, for all of us.
It was a good call for all you guys. But that Pete, we've talked about this before. Pete and I have had this conversation, and you know, we talk about the golden era of tournament fishing, and you know, I think it was you know, late 90s, early 2000s, but the golden era of bringing fishing to a new level, I think, was this period you're talking about, Al. I think you guys, you know, from the 70s to the 80s, that brought the sport to a new light, that brought it to magazines and TV and radio, places it's never been. Dude, what a critical time period to be involved in the sport. Was it how? I mean, it must have felt fresh. I mean, you guys were doing things that nobody else was doing.
It was a rush, man. Every day was a new day. It was you're doing something different. Yeah, you know, it was just an exciting time. That segment of the sport it caught on everywhere.
Yeah.
Every seminars in those days, Mike, you would go to a seminar in a city and you would have thousands of people.
Wow.
Thousands.
Wow.
Today it's if you get 200 come.
Yeah.
It's something. There was a hunger to learn how to catch, in this case bass, but to learn how to find and catch more fish. There was a hunger, and you had the development stages of the Buck Perry structure fishing concepts were just kind of permeating. Carl Lawrence brought this thing called the fish locator to the scene. I'll never forget. I had one of the very early ones. I went on the water with this thing, and it was like, holy smokes, man! You started as a kid. You would dream about what it would look like underwater if you were raced. all of us that are fishing nuts did this.
Yeah.
You would dream at night about, if I erase the water, where are those fish and what is it looking like? This was the first time you were able to kind of do that. And look where we're at today, man.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
It's crazy.
But all of this was in its infancy, and you had different pockets of things happening all over the country. And the spread of information was all through television and print at that time, some radio.
Yeah.
And then today, everything goes so fast with the social media. Yeah, it has made the spread of information is instantaneous. And I look at our sport today. We have so many good fishermen out there for every kind of fish, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the caliber of angler, because of the spread of information, is staggering. I get in a boat with somebody's kids back in high school in my hometown here. We helped launch that high school fishing team here. What these kids are able to do with a rod and reel is it's unbelievable how good these guys are.
It's crazy.
Al, you did something that, well, how did it happen to get in fisherman and do what you did as a multi-species program? Did you recognize, okay, well, we've got Bill Dance coming out with a bass show and rolling, and they're Westmoreland's doing smallmouth.
Right.
Did you decide to go multi-species to be competitive, or was it the plan all along? How'd that happen?
It was just I loved smallmouth fishing. I love largemouth fishing. I like catching every kind of fish that swims.
Yeah.
And it was the amount of opportunities that were there. It just kind of led to multi-species. In the very early stages of In-Fisherman, our fish logo was a smallmouth bass. The very, very early stages.
I remember that
of it. But walleye fishing was in popularity. We started to have walleye tournaments started to happen in the north. So I was in some of the first walleye tournaments that started the boom up here. So even muskie tournaments started, and I was fishing these things. So we just seen this multi-species thing. Bass by that time, the other organizations were out of the way. Bass was dominant. As far as the tournament scene.
Yeah.
But up here, we've seen all this multi-species interest and the people that were competitive in a different fish. So that was, let's do a multi-species deal. And that's kind of what lit the fire behind it.
Yeah, that's incredible. Let me remind everybody, if you're watching, if you've got questions or comments for Al,
we got them.
Yeah, please hit us up, and Riz will put them through. Riz, we got some questions coming already. I know it's early, but let's let the couple through.
Yeah, so Bunzi wants to know, Al, being a true ambassador of the sport, what is the biggest change you have seen in the industry or realized in your career as a fisherman?
Wow.
The biggest change to today would be the impact of electronics. It's staggering. And from as far as the resource, to me, one of the biggest contributions of Major League Fishing to the sport was making it CRR. That aspect at for a point in time. I think that was a huge move. Personally, I think because of the pressures on a lot of our lakes, the intelligent pressure, I think we have to see more of that. We're doing everything we can to try to push it in the walleye world, muskie world. It's always been there, but it's intelligent pressure is staggering, especially this last 2 years. So I mean, the education, we got to do what we can to kind of watch that resource and protect it to the best of our ability. But the electronics, it just blows my mind what keeps happening. And look at the caliber of equipment. Every year you look at the rods, the reels. Where do these guys keep coming up with this information? And the lures, every single year we see a new type, a Ned rig type thing develop. And it just spreads like wildfire. And you think, well, what can somebody think of next to help us find and catch more fish? They're sitting right now. There's a guy tinkering someplace at home, making something with something that's going to be the next thing. It's going to happen, man. It happens all the time.
You're right.
It drives our sport, guys. That's what drives our sport. It's something new. It's something exciting, and it works. That's the thing. It works.
Yeah.
What were you using to win tournaments back in the 70s?
Yes.
Good question.
Yeah. Spinner bait, Texas rig worm, some jigs. The crankbait of choice was a bomber, and if you had to crank a little bit, you had a bomber, you had a mud bug, and you had the hellbender. And the day of cranking with those babies, with the rods that we had, believe me, you were one tired dude when you got off the water. I mean, these things worked you, man.
Yeah.
They worked you.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
Hellbender?
yeah, I remember. I still love all those. I have a lot of them still in the shop. A lot of those same baits. But speaking of tinkering, Al, this is another good little note that we have here. You've been responsible for a lot of amazing lures and techniques over the years. I just have a list of some of them. Lindy rig, the no snag sinker, Lindy sinker, jig and wrap, stand up jig heads, the R-bend spinner bait, for crying out loud.
That was Ron's deal.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to feel good, to look back and say, you see all these young anglers developing stuff, but man, you've been doing it forever, and you were at the forefront of developing lures and techniques. That's got to feel good.
It does. It does, and I don't mean those accomplishments are things you look back at your career. Yeah, and it especially, I'm getting a little long in tooth, Mike, at these days. I've got some years on me, man. So I can look back at these things and say, I made some major contributions to this sport that have got it to where it's at today.
Yeah.
And this next level, there's a whole army of people that are looking to take it to the next level, whatever it's going to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 25 years from now. And that's a good thing. That's the way things happen. You have the old guard, you have the middle guard that are on the front lines doing it every day, and then you got the newbies coming in.
Yeah.
And it goes like this, man. And that's a good thing. You pass down a set of knowledge that you had at this point. These guys pick it up, take it to another level, and these kids come in and these kids, some of these kids are like headhunters, man. That they have the fire in the belly is so incredible. And when those of us and some of you that are listening, they know what that fire in the belly to win, to get this thing done, to accomplish something, to drive, to get this thing where you're obsessed with it. Morning, noon, and night, baby. You go to bed thinking about it. You wake up in the middle of the night and make a note at it. That's what drives it. It's exciting, man. It's exciting. It gets you pumped.
Yeah.
So
After all these,
go ahead, Pete.
I was going to say, after all these years of doing this, Al, do you still feel that fire in the belly? Do you still get super pumped next fishing trip coming up, or is it still there with you?
There's spurts of it. There's spurts, guys. I have to admit, it isn't what it used to be. I'm not quite that mad at those fishes. I wanted to catch every fish in the lake. That was the mission. I want to catch every fish in the lake. I don't have that fire in the belly. There's spurts that I get, and I'm thankful for it. But I still like doing television shows. I'll give you a quick story if I got a moment, if you got the time.
Have at it.
We sold, when we sold In-Fisherman, I had a 4-year non-compete. And 2 years I had a contract with them, then another year, and then there was a year I did nothing. And at that point, my wife said, she made a comment in passing to me. She says, you're still young. We're independently wealthy. We don't need to make money. We can do anything you want. We're comfortable for the rest of our days. What do you want to do with your stuff? You were driven so long. What do you want to do with your life? And I said, I really like doing television fishing shows. And she says, well, you might continue. You might think about doing it again. and that left, she planted that seed with me, and it laid there for a while.
Yeah.
Until the idea for angling buzz came up, and I got back, and my non-compete was done, and still till today, the one thing I really enjoy doing TV fishing.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, man. It is not work to me.
Yeah. Speaking of your TV fishing, so and like Mike said earlier, I know you're tired of people. I don't know if you're tired or not. People telling you how much you impacted them, but I don't know. Somewhere between 25 and 30 years ago, watching your show, I still do a crankbait retrieve. He gets his crankbaits at depth.
Yeah.
And like dragging a worm, he then works the bait and feels it while pulling the rod, not
Yeah.
activating
Yeah.
the reel. Then
Right.
catches the slack back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And during that pause and during that, it's something to this day that I still do.
Yeah.
Man.
It's crazy.
know?
And there's I would say millions of people that have a story like that. And that's what is amazing to me, Al. And I want to jump on this topic, which is there are lots and lots and lots of people that are watching right now that are going to listen to this a couple weeks from now, and they have that fire, and they're young, and they're competitive, and they want to make a living in the sport. But then to get to the next level and do it is a different thing. And so when I look back on your life and your career, dude, when you were a kid, you were just like us. I had read somewhere that you guys would rent boats and you'd get you'd get rides, and then Ron finally got a car and you would just drive around the place. Then you finally got a 14-footer John boat. Dude, that's us. That's exactly what we did. Like, that is us to a T. And then life went on. I know you had a stint in Vietnam, and then you came back, and then all of a sudden you had this drive, something there that in the next series of years, all of a sudden it was In-Fisherman, it was lures, it was guiding, it was books, radio, DVDs, videos, walleye tournaments, guiding, speaking, Dude, where that conversion, like, to have that drive and energy and then to do it is another thing. If there are people watching and listening, give them a piece of advice to get there, to actually do it.
You got to, number one, you got to step out of your comfort zone and take a risk.
Yeah.
Most people won't take that first step. They won't get out of their because it is a risk.
Yeah.
You got to take a risk. You got to leave everything behind. And I can't say enough about the commitment to it, the passion that makes it happen. Passion trumps money.
Yeah.
It trumps intelligence. It trumps everything. If you got that burning passion, and that passion means you eat, sleep, and drink it 24/7, it becomes obsessive to you. It is obsessive.
Yeah.
And you go, and eventually the barriers will break down. You will win. But if you don't want to make that commitment in this business, if you want a 9-to-5 job, don't even come to the fishing industry and think you're going to make a big buck in it. It doesn't exist. It's 7 days a week, 24/7, and you're going to go and go and go. It is a lifestyle business. I love it. I still love it.
Yeah.
And it is a lifestyle business that you better have a helpmate that can live with this lifestyle too, because there's a lot of talent that I've seen that didn't have the backing of the helpmate to carry this through.
Yeah,
a lot of
it. It's amazing, and we can see it. I've seen it, and when I was young, I really looked at a lot of the big names and top personalities. And Al, you wouldn't know this, but I saw you speak before we ever knew each other. I was a kid, and I saw you speak, and the one thing I saw is your hustle and how you were an inspiration to build a fishing empire, more than anything. And I saw you go in all these different directions and doing it all. And I remember saying, I'm like, man, I want to do that. Like, I aspired to do that because I saw you do it successfully. So it's amazing. But here's the other thing I want to touch on, which is you were, especially for us here in this part of the world, you and In-Fisherman and Ron, and you guys were one of the first anglers to look at fishing from a scientific perspective. And that was so impactful for a lot of us, for me, because it was like, as a very young kid, before In-Fisherman, it was like, it's luck, just it's lucky, And then as I started to learn the systems and hear you guys talk about, how you break down a fishery, the type of fishery, all these terms I never heard of before, the type of reservoir, the systems, the patterns, the acronyms, and I know, there were other guys at Buck Perry, there were other guys doing it too, but
water pH and the types of water,
all of that, your acronym, which I always went back in the day, I used to call it FLIPS. So I had added an I in there, which wasn't correct, but a fish location presentation equals success. Like, we've all grown up with that, and it's changed the way we think about fishing. Talk about that, because in my opinion, for me personally, no one's had more influence on thinking about how you catch a fish more than you, with exception of Buck Perry and Rick Clunn and a couple other guys. But dude, where did all that come from? Because that's so groundbreaking in our sport.
That simple fact, Mike, that FF fish location presentation you put all through, it is totally impossible to have a phenomenal day on the water without all three of those coming together.
Right.
It cannot happen for one of those magic days. You can have days you catch some fish, but the days that are hugely successful, all three of those have to come together. If two of them, you can have an okay day with two of them. All three of those have to click. They have to click whether you realize it or not.
Yeah.
And once your mind, once you get, you think in those terms, your mind is like a computer, man. And when you suck all of this stuff in, you know, when you first look at it, you try to grasp, how am I going to remember this stuff? After so long, it's second nature to you. You're putting your boat in the before you put your boat in the water, you're already eliminated on the drive so much of what the lake, you know what the weather was the last few days. You get to the dock, you know the water colored, the temperature, you know all of these conditions been running through your mind, and your mind is going, and you eliminate so much stuff so fast to get right to the bite, man. And that's and it all falls back to learning to think that those three things, and a lot of good fishermen that don't even realize they're good, but they don't know that is happening to them. I've talked to them, being in the television show business, you meet some good anglers, you go on different shoots, and you're going to talk to the guy to maybe get, you don't know how he's going to be if you get in a boat with him. Will he freeze up when the camera goes on him? What's going to happen, man? And there's so many good fishermen. They don't know what they know. They know it instinct. They don't know what they know. So when you're trying to communicate, if you ask them a distinct question, they don't know how to answer it. It's just part of what they do. So you got to get in the boat and you got to fish with them for a little while to see those nuances, because they don't know what they know, but it's just been picked up over the years. And this condition, this spot, and this bait, you do this, it catches fish.
It's amazing. I mean, for Pete and I grew up tournament fishing here in New Jersey through the Federation, and to think about that aspect of it, the thinking side of the sport, was so critical, Pete, for us getting to the next level. I mean, it changed our careers. You want to touch on that, Pete?
Yeah, what you said, Al, so interesting, because we teach, obviously, and when guys ask you, and this has always shocked me, they're like, how did you get that bite? And I'm like, just like you said, Al, I don't know. Let me think about it for a second. What did I do? Oh, okay. Then you start to break it down, and you realize that you're, making the bait move in a certain way, which means you have to manage your rod and line in a certain way. in order to trigger that strike, in order to get it through the grass? Or how are you getting it through the brush piles without hanging up? Well, I don't know. Let me take a second here and try to figure this out, you know? And you get these epiphanies about that you can reuse over and over and over again. Like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So for me, becoming a teacher, you know, in the Bass University I feel like has made me a lot better angler, because it causes me to look back into my own fishing. And in order to be able to convey that message, I got to dive in deep to what I'm doing.
Sure.
And that's helped me tremendously. And you, Mike, you're right. You're absolutely, you know, you were the cutting edge on that, you know, breaking it down, making it to where it wasn't an accident, that you were getting out there and catching those fish. Yeah. And it was always awesome to watch. But I'd like to take just a mini step back about television, because today a lot of people are going in, they're making it through the YouTube business model. And, you know, you went back into television with your program probably right before that boom took place over on YouTube. I'm just curious as to what you think about the guys that are crushing it over on YouTube, and is television, where does television fit in all this, and what's the future look like for television?
This YouTube phenomena, and a lot of these young people that were at right place, right time, and I got to give credit to some of them that they seen an opportunity and ran with it. Quite frankly, a lot of it I don't understand, man. I don't get it. I truly don't get it. I look to stuff. I want to learn. I want to learn something that'll help me find and catch more fish. That's why I go out, the experience. The part that is just maybe pure I guess you can call it. A lot of it I don't get, guys. A lot. It's real. It's there. They are reaching an audience. Some of them have made astronomical money. I give them credit for that. Where that thing goes, I don't know, man. I don't know. That segment of our sport is still, it's kind of like mind-boggling to me.
It is. It is. I'm boggled too.
It's kind of like Bitcoin. You know what I mean? You don't fully understand, but people are making money on it.
It is. It's like Bitcoin. It's exactly like Bitcoin.
Funny observation. I was scrolling.
It's funny you mentioned Bitcoin.
And
that's another story. My kid, he's probably watching this thing. Him and my wife got on this Bitcoin thing in the last 2 months. That's another story. It's got nothing to do with fishing.
Al, we had a computer genius on this show about 5 years ago that was trying to tell us about Bitcoin back then.
Might have been longer.
We would all be living in castles right now if we had
we should have listened to him. He was crazy. Brian, what did you got?
No, so I was looking for I was running through YouTube today looking for actually, I was looking for a clip, Al, and I don't want to get into this just yet, but it went back to a show you did, Feeding Habits of Bass, with and you had Rick Clunn in your boat. So that's what I was looking for, right? But I come across a YouTube video about, do bass eat bluegill? And it had 2 million views. And then as I'm scrolling, I see here's something that Al did in the 70s, and on the cover there's a bit of this cassette tape. Yeah. Or VHS, yeah, of a bass eating a bluegill.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just
well, it's the theory is it's like,
of course they eat bluegill. Yeah. Thirsty as YouTube.
Right. Views doesn't always convert to actual legitimate content. So, but we know that. Let me remind everybody, if you're watching, you got a question or comment, please send them through. We've got amazing the legend of sport, Al Linder on. Riz, what else we got? Let's get a couple more through here to Al. What do we got?
Team No Fish wants to know, Al, over all the years that you spent doing In-Fisherman and your other fishing shows, where was the favorite place you ever got to fish?
Oh, good one.
Favorite lake. My favorite lake in the whole world, day in and day out, for every species of fish, would be Lake of the Woods.
I knew it.
On the Canadian-Minnesota border. Now, it's 1 million acres of water. It's got 14,000 islands on it. And believe me, it's you can never get bored there. There's so many different basins that fish use. You got crystal clear water. You've got pea green algae in some areas. You got the stained water. You got weeds. Everything you can imagine is there. In fact, I know Mike was there many years ago. On the north end, you fished with Joe Pritchett. You fished with Jumpin' Joe. We call him the gentle giant. We fished a bunch of tournaments against him. The man is huge. Yeah, big guy in there. And I remember when you were up there with him at, I forget the name of the lodge that he guided out of up there. And every time I seen him after that, I think you introduced him to the wacky worm or something. I think it was the wacky worm. Yeah. And he was numb, and that was when the wacky worm was still a secret. Nobody, nobody was fishing the stupid looking that thing to the market.
Yeah, it was.
That lake, it is an amazing complex of water.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I remember that it was so. I at the time was working with Dick's Sporting Goods, and every fall they would take the top 15 or 20 lodge managers and they would send them on a trip to Lake of the Woods. And I was working with them at the time, so they would send me up there. And it was the absolute most, I went there 2 or 3 years in a row. It was the most incredible fishing, from walleye to smallmouth to largemouth to giant pike. I mean, it was incredible. But the one year, the Senko was really, really new.
That was it.
It was new to all of us around here. And I remember I took some up there, and we got in a bay, and I mean, we caught them on every cast for an hour. Like, it was insane. And so then I sent him a 100 count. I mailed it to him because he was so good to me. I mailed it to him. Well, him and his tournament partner, who I'm skipping his name.
Hiram.
Yes. Hiram won every event for the next 2 years with largemouth, fishing the Senko until people caught on to it. So it was what an amazing fishery.
Wow.
What a phenomenal fishery. What a great guy. Shout out to Big Joe.
How close do you live to that, Al? You said you're in Minnesota now, right?
Yeah, I'm 3 hours away from the U.S. side. Of that million acres, 300,000 acres is open water on the U.S. side, and that's all walleye water, except in the Rainy River, and it's got a huge smallmouth population in it, and they're starting to go along the Canadian side of the lake. Like everywhere else in the country, that smallmouth fishery is booming, man.
Yeah.
It is on fire.
Yeah.
And from there on, when you get to the islands, it's smallmouth city for the other 3/4 of that lake.
Has development plagued it yet, or is it still real remote?
No, she's pretty remote.
Yeah.
When you get on there, I mean, it's a big complex, man. And even with the horsepower, the size boats and everything we got today, there's a lot of water to cover, but it isn't developed. There's an amazing amount of places to fish on. They're just amazing, as you can imagine. It is not, like I said, there's lakes that are boring lakes, and then you have systems like this that, it's just mind-boggling how much water there is to fish with good, strong populations of fish.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the smallmouth are booming, and we were talking before we came on about vermilion, and that's booming with small. Why is it booming? Is it the zebra mussels? Have gobies got into it? What's helping that lake along?
All of them. Well, the zebra mussels got every good smallmouth walleye fishery in the United States and Canada now pretty much has got zebes in it, and they got crystal clear. And the smallmouth, the gobies have been a big plus. And in our regions here, the other aspects of a lot of the populations of smelt and Cisco have skyrocketed. The open water populations and the smallmouths zeroed in on them. And in so many of these tournaments on these big lakes now, and if you get the right bites, you're catching those smallmouth on top water baits. They'll leave the structure, and in the morning, early in the morning, they're living, the big monsters are living in open water, and they're on that Cisco smelt bite. And you get the mornings when they come up out of the hatches, they're high in the water column, and you got a topwater bite for a couple hours. And the biggest smallmouth in the system, I mean, you're throwing walking baits or poppers over 100 feet of water. There isn't a piece of structure near you. and then big brown bass are out there. Yeah, and we learned to zero in on that more and more and more. But the smelt in particular have picked up in a lot of these lakes, have just skyrocketed. Wow. And the smallmouth that used to top off at 3.5 pounds, the numbers were always there. The numbers there. You always caught a lot of fish. But, they'd have been 1 to 2.5 pounds. A big one would have been 3.25 maybe. Well, now them big ones are 5, 5.5, all because of the forage, the clear water, the ability for these fish to feed in the open water environment. It's been a huge plus to the explosion of smallmouth in this country. East Coast, West Coast, North, South, Central. That clear water has helped them immensely. And what it has done to the forage to reinforce it, and it being my favorite fish, I'm so happy with the smallmouth fishing today. It's just made amazing.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'm impressed. We all want to come up there and go fishing. I want to ask this question because you said about the Senko that Mike brought up to Lake of the Woods, and you're always on the cutting edge, and I'm like. I'm a bit of a pessimist. A lure's really got to impress me. Like I had the chatterbait in my boat for 2 years because it's a stupid lure and it looks doesn't have a wee guard and a dumb metal lip. Have you ever done that like me? Have you ever slept on like something that turned out to be magic because you're like, this doesn't make any sense?
Every year, Peter, I'm a groupie of this sport, and I'm chasing the new hot magic bait. Whatever. I want it. I'm there. I'm watching. I read up every manufacturer. What do you got coming out? And I'll go buy a bunch of them. With the industry, I'm good for our industry. I'm really good for it.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I need to take a page out of your book.
Yeah. I want to keep some questions coming, Riz. I've got one real quick, and I'm going to go back to you. This one's over on Instagram, Al, and it comes from the fake Tommy Biffle is asking this question. And his question is 2 parts. It says, Al, is it true you guided with Tommy Martin and Harold Allen at Toledo Bend? And then the second part of the question is, if it is true, man, that must have been a wild time. What happened?
Oh, it is 100% true.
Wow.
I left... I was guiding in Minnesota, Lindy Tackle Company. We were just starting. My brother and my partner, Nick Adams, they were married with kids. I was single at the time. I had no responsibility. I hit the road, hooked up my boat, and all I did was fish.
Wow.
Fish. And a buddy of mine up here, we guided here. He says, yeah, you got to come to Sam Rayburn with me. The lake is on fire. And a bunch of the guides that used to guide on Greer's Ferry went to Sam Rayburn. They said, you can get, the guide trip is endless. And you'll learn the water real quick, and you go. So hooked up my boat, went with him, went to Broadus, Texas, got a cabin with Harry. We rented the cabin. I walked down to Jackson Hill. I looked at the water. I'd never seen so many trees in a lake in my life. It took me a while. I don't know how many jigging spoons I lost on those trees. These guys are telling me in the winter how to fish jigging spoons in trees. Okay, I'm buying them by the dozens. At the end of the day, I'm breaking them all off. I'm trying to figure out how to fish a jigging spoon in trees. And finally, I got on the bite a little bit. And one of the guys, Ralph Giso, that headed up where all the guys, the M Motel was the place in Broadus. And that's where I met Tommy Martin. He and I were pretty close friends. And Harold Allen was there. I'm trying to think of a couple other guys there. That came out of that group. But that was the heyday. That was an explosion of bass fishing there. And the knowledge, you had twin spins were hot winter bites. So you had twin spins, you had the jig, you had the jigging spoon, and you had the little George tail type baits. And I learned on Rayburn that winter how to fish all these baits. And then by the time you got into the March when the pre-spawn bites started happening, and that was a spinner bait and a lipless crankbait and that. But yeah, I was there. Spent a whole season in Broadus, Texas, and it was one of those windows in time that molded my career.
Wow,
yeah, for sure.
That must have been a wild time because I know I've heard stories of Tommy Martin and Harold Allen back then. They were wild. They
Oh,
were
yeah.
wild childs back then.
Let me tell you, Brodus, Texas, at that point in time, it was like the wild, wild west down there. It was something else, man.
Wow.
And we would pull, all of the guide trips were coming, all the money, it was the Gulf Oil had hired all the guides, and they would come up, Gulf Oil would pour up there and hire all the guides. Every fishing camp was loaded with the executives from Gulf Oil. And believe me, it got really crazy, man.
Wow. Now that's what I want to see, a YouTube video of that.
That, yeah.
I'd pay to see a YouTube video of that. You know what I mean?
Picking up the clients at the brothel in the morning.
Jeez Louise, what a time. What a time. Al, if we take a break, will you hang in there with us for one more segment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Listen, if you're watching right now, hang in there. We're gonna tune back here with Al Linder. Hang in there with us. When we come back, more of this amazing show, talking to one of the greats of the sport.
4.5-inch drop shot worm, Bama bug. Finesse jig, PB&J, give me something hard. Hey, KVD here. Now, I didn't always know this much about fishing. It's 4-aught EWG worm hook. In fact, there was a time when I couldn't tell the difference between a jerkbait and a stickbait. But then I signed up for Mystery Tackle Box, the original monthly tackle subscription. And now I know more about fishing than I do about calculus.
And he knows a lot about calculus.
Plus, I get amazing extras like free fishing magazines. October 2016, featured article, 4 places to throw a frog. Exclusive decals, zombie bass. And how-to videos for all the great baits I receive. How to tune a crankbait. Is that underwater footage I smell?
I got goosebumps.
So if you're looking to develop enhanced fishing abilities like me, or you just like getting new tackle every month, go to mysterytacklebox.com and get your box today. Ooh, live minnows. Is it lunchtime already? Nature's candy. Oh. Is he in my pocket?
This time of year, I definitely recommend putting a little bit of this on your soft plastics too. There he is. Another one. Next cast. And that would be number 6. I'm addicted. I'll admit it. I'm straight addicted.
This might be bigger.
You think so?
Yeah. Feels bigger. I haven't even seen this thing yet. It doesn't want to come up. Don't break me off the rocks.
Oh, it's a... Oh!
27-incher.
He caught it.
28.
Oh my god, that's such a healthy fish. Look at this size. Put a little liquid mayhem on your crappie jig, and look where the stripers get it. You can't even see it, man. That might be a keeper.
This is your tackle. Not that kind of tackle. You use it to catch this, or this, or this. You also use this, and that, and these. This is your environment. So is this. You love it, live for it, but it will turn this into that. This is the Flambeau Z-Rust Max Tough Tainer series. These are fully infused with exclusive Z-Rust VCI anti-corrosion technology. This is a U.S. naval battleship. The same Z-Rust technology used here has been used on those to protect advanced weapon systems from corrosion in conditions like these. For the fish, it's invisible, odorless, tasteless. And for you, it's FDA-safe anti-rust protection for a minimum of 5 years. This is the next level of tackle management, not that kind of management. This is the Flambeau legacy of tackle systems. What's your tackle worth?
It's more than who you are. It's who you're with. And it's more than what you do. It's where you do it. Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey.
Gotcha.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to a brand new edition of Ike Live. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday night. I know we are. We've got probably the best guest we've ever had on in the world. I had to say, the one and only Al Linder joining us tonight. Tin Cup Whiskey is a sponsor of the show, And right here before we get Al back on, I want to do a shot, and Riz and Pete, if you've got a shot there, I want to do a shot to Al because this is amazing. This is
Thank
like
you,
a
Al.
dream come true. Shout out to Al Linder for coming on tonight.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Al Linder.
Dream come true. Dream come true
True.
for us. It
True.
really, really is.
Mike, I just want to say
Yeah.
thank you for having a successful career so that you could have me produce a podcast where we
Yes.
get Al Lindner on.
I know. This is ridiculous. I agree with that. This is crazy. Who would ever thought?
I only wish you chased Sasquatch because I'd probably be able to meet Gimlin, Bob Gimlin. In
Right. Well, I might. I might
shot
start,
the famous footage.
I might start chasing Sasquatch.
Al,
Now that you have
Al,
an Instagram account.
up there in northern Minnesota, have you ever run into Sasquatch?
Oh. Sounds like a yes.
I may have thought under certain conditions that I seen him, but that would have been a bad moment.
That was your time in Texas, huh?
Hey, they live everywhere, Dave, so don't
They're
be
in
surprised.
Texas, too.
All right, Dave, I know you wanted to jump in
Yeah, I
and
did.
talk a little bit about the magazine.
So, Al, I have a question about the magazine. So, as a kid growing up, that magazine was one of the more important ones that I would get.
Yeah.
Primarily the art. Who did the art on the front of the magazine for you? Who did all that fish art?
Steve
The
Donald.
fish art was Larry Topol. He is still doing their art. Where I met Larry, I was speaking at a bass club in Detroit. And at the club meeting, Larry was a member of the bass club. And in there, they had a little newsletter kind of thing. And I looked at the cover, and you know how he took each fish and he kind of slightly distorted it to give it kind of a weird thing. He had the cover of the head of a bass with its gills flared.
Yeah.
I looked at this thing and I picked it up and that is amazing. Then I met him there and I went back and I showed it to Ron and I said, we got to get this guy to do some cover work for the magazine. And the rest was history.
Yeah,
After that.
The way you guys did the cover of the magazine, I don't think no one else painted the picture of what you were about to see inside the way you guys did in front of those.
Yeah, it was the fish. The main story in that issue. The lead story was that fish in that environment.
Yeah,
that's what it was. That was the lead story all the time.
Yeah,
and Larry was brilliant at it. Just you know, he was quite a master at his game.
It was so impactful because I remember we've told this story on a lot of the shows, Al, but like as kids, you know, there were kids that we went to school with that couldn't wait to get home for Sports Illustrated, or they couldn't wait to get home, you know, for a Hot Rod magazine. But for us, it was these fishing magazines, you know, and it was like, dude, it was like like school didn't even matter. You know, it was like get home from school to get to the mailbox, to open the mailbox, to get the magazine. And
even better than that, though, Al, was the catalogs, right? Like someone would always get the catalog first.
Oh, the
Someone
Bass
always
Pro,
got
before
Bass
the
Pro,
internet. Yeah, the
or
Bass Pro, the Cabela's.
Northeastern Tackle Supply.
Yeah.
Northeast Bass.
Gander Supply.
Gander,
like
yeah.
the magazines, the catalogs were so impactful. But the info in those, and later the books too, Al. And we've got a little library we've created here in the studio. But I've got three of your books in my hands right here. 3 of your Bass publications, but these were our guides. I mean, these were things we referenced, and I remember taking the magazine out on the boat with me. Like I had my 12-foot John boat, and I'd bring the magazine to like cross-reference what I was doing with what was written in that magazine. Dude, how powerful that was. It's incredible. It's incredible, you know, to think about that.
The weight classification was the hardest, most difficult thing that we worked on.
Yeah.
When you took the res and the drawings and that, and we had a lot of help from Billy and Bobby Murray on that.
Yeah.
And you know, when I was fishing bass, a number of the tournaments, and Bobby and I roomed together, and so I got to know him really well, and I knew Billy when he did put together the Bass Institutes at that time, similar to Bass University, and it was done in the front right. That was done out of Indianapolis State U, and Billy was responsible for that. but they worked so diligently on that lake classification on the reservoirs, which was one of the most in-depth projects I think we ever did.
Billy, on the back of the handbook of strategies, looks like he fell off a chuck wagon with that 10-gallon cowboy hat he's got on. Like he's a stagecoach robber or something.
That's a big cowboy hat.
That, dude.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, Rizzo, I know you've got a ton of questions, and I keep just picking at you, but I know you've got some good ones. What do you got, Riz?
Yeah, so this question is actually going to come from Riz B Fishing, and Riz B Fishing wants to know. I'm sure a lot of anglers are watching this show that are just starting to find that burning desire that you described, Al, and that fire inside of them. And for you guys back in the day, it was Bassmaster magazines, it was In-Fisherman magazines. If there's one book or one piece of print that you could recommend to an angler that legitimately wants to improve their skills in fishing?
Good question.
What would that be for somebody to dive in on and read to help improve their skills as a fisherman?
Good question.
In today's marketplace right now, I would assume he's right now today. If the magazine business and stuff, I would have to go back to In-Fisherman. Still does some phenomenal stuff. And Bass and Times, Bass and Times gets into detail where Bassmaster, it kind of gets a little out of line. It reports much of Bass and Times still gets some strong articles in it.
What would your
guys really of what is happening today? And in print, it's really hard to see publications like this. And by the way, a lot of you guys, I don't know how many of you remember the name Mike Jones. If you go way back to Bass, and Mike Jones was an outdoor writer there for many years. And in my opinion, he was one of the best in the game. When he interviewed and fished, but Mike Jones, he did a phenomenal job. And then he kind of slowed down a little bit. When ESPN bought Bass, that they had a little bit of difference of opinion from what I understood on the editorial focuses. And he went a separate way. I understand that starting in the March issue, Jonesy is going to be back.
Wow.
And Jonesy, this is a strong rumor. Starting in March, he's going to start contributing. He is going to be at this year's Classic. And I hope Jonesy is watching this now. This guy, in my opinion, was one of the best bass writers, along with some guys that were close to where you are. Remember Rich Zaleski? Rich might be watching.
Yeah. Great
Rich's stuff was at the time, particularly on his smallmouth stuff. I loved Rich's stuff. It was so good.
Great writer.
So good. But Jonesy's back in the game, man. I can't wait to see his first right.
There it goes, guys. You've been waiting for breaking news on Ike Live. There's a second one tonight, right there. You heard it first.
There it is, yes.
That's crazy.
And the DMs are rolling in. Ken Duke is excited for Mike Jones's comeback.
Ken Duke.
And Al, I got this request come through several times tonight. What is your favorite color X-Wrap? And DQ wants you to say X-Wrap several times. It's your favorite Al Linder word.
Dan Quinn wants you to say it over and over. Yeah.
The two favorite colors for smallmouth now. Smallmouth, not largemouth.
Smallmouth.
For smallmouth. It's what I call that. They have a hot orange. I call it the hothead. That one and the pink pearl.
What bait?
And I have fished these two colors. I'm not blowing smoke to anybody. I would challenge you on a smallmouth bite anywhere on any water on the continent, north, south, east, or west, throwing that color against any other color day in and day out and watch it. And I promise you, you will get more smallmouth than you will on any other color.
Wow.
It is amazing, those two colors. It is amazing.
Al, what bait?
That's the X-Wrap.
What is it?
Brian just got a bonus. Brian just got a bonus from Rapala for you for forcing that
Brian
out.
the Carpenter is getting a percentage of every time you say X-Wrap, he gets a cut. So.
Those two colors, it's amazing. It is amazing. Though if there's smallies in the area, they will come and look at it when they won't look at another color. And I don't care what the action, it gets at least their attention, and you know they're there. They will show themselves.
Yeah.
When do you throw the orange and when do you throw the pink?
I usually if I'm on new water, I'll have a rod with each, but I'll have two different sizes. I might have a 12, I might have a 10. Yeah, but I'll have each color. If I haven't been on water, I know it's smallies, and I'm going to be just a jerk bait bite is going to be happening in condition. I'll go with both of them.
Yeah, the hothead's just a real bright clown.
Right. Both of them are bright.
Yeah, it's a hot. It is. They're really bright. I mean, you could. And the other thing, you could see it a mile away in the water. So your eye, you don't lose it to your eye contact with the bait in clear water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike Jones making a comeback, and Dave on Instagram.
Dave on Instagram.
Dude.
Mike Jones made a comeback.
Everybody's winning
Good
tonight.
Lord.
Everybody's a win.
happening?
Speaking of, we talked about color, but we did have another question early in the show before you even came on. We had a question about scent. Let's throw that to you real quick, Al. How important scent to fishing? What do you believe about scent?
I believe in cold water conditions, it's a plus.
Yeah.
Where you got to soak a bait, where you're not fishing it pretty fast, where that fish is coming in and he's looking at the bait. A real negative bite, cold water conditions. Absolutely, I believe you get more bites out of it when a bait is dead stick.
Yeah, we've seen the same thing.
That's, I mean, in my little, I concur.
Dude, cold water, tough fishing. When the fishing pressure is high or they're inspecting the bait, Liquid Mayhem has bailed us out a lot. So we agree with that.
That's my go-to.
I want to get back to the magazine, Al, and it was such a inspiration, and it set a lot of guys on their path. We researched this a little bit, and some of the young guns right now of the sport, and we got a couple names we'll throw at you. A couple Canadians, the Johnston brothers, Gussie, Seth Fighter, all credit you and In-Fisherman magazine as being part of the reason they chose their career and they chose their path. Dude, that think about that. That's huge. Like that impact you've had on people. In 1998, you sold it to Prime Media, and Prime Media at the time owned other publications like they owned other publications like 17 and Teen Beat, which Dave still subscribes to this day.
I mean, I still have the Scott Baio centerfold in
my
right.
Scott Baio's
in your garage.
Right, I know. Later sold to Intermediate Outdoors, but knowing, like that was your baby, like that was the thing that changed people's lives. Talk about that a little bit. Was that hard? Was it hard to let that go? Even now, as that door closed and others opened, and you've got great things now, is it hard to look back and say, what if I kept it, or are you disappointed in some of the directions it's going?
That's one of those forks in the road. The decision that led to that, Mike, at that time, we had we weren't looking to sell In-Fisherman.
Yeah.
It was not on the market.
Right.
And we had like 6 inquiries. Oh, well, you'll find this interesting. One of the suitors that we talked to that would have made a great partner on this was Helen Severe with Bass.
Wow.
She had looked at we had talked really, really, really close.
Wow.
And you could see what would happen if you could have put Bass together with In-Fisherman at that time. This was one that was kind of exciting. The other ones, the corporate culture and everything, we just kind of blew it off.
Yeah.
But in any case, I had a point in my life when this was happening. Took about a year of hand holding. Got a call on the phone. The guy introduced himself to me, says I'm with Prime Media. We're looking at acquiring many outdoor publications. We really like what you see. I don't know if you'd be interested in selling. I'd like to meet with you sometime. Now, you'd be dumb if you say, no, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear about it. That'd be a dumb thing to do. So we set up. My first meeting was in the Minneapolis airport. He's flying out of New York, going to Los Angeles for a meeting. I'm leaving Brainerd, Minnesota. I'm going to do a sports show in Des Moines, Iowa. So I meet him at the airport. We sat down for about an hour and a half, have coffee, and just kind of chatted a little bit. He would request, this went on, the hand holding went on for about a year, and it accelerated each month. Got a little more involved. And then after about a year, he'd ask for a sheet of paper for a stat on this, and I'd send it to him, and we'd talk a little bit. And then one day I get a registered letter in the mail. And it says basically, if we came and did our due diligence and everything proved out to be what you said it is in here, and we looked at it, we would give you this amount of money for that media conglomerate.
Right.
Now, a kid growing up on the streets of Chicago, I had to add on my fingers. I said, that's a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of money.
Right. Right.
And I was at a point in my life. I showed it to Ron and Dolores. Now, my brother Ron is 10 years older than I am.
Yeah.
So at this point when we sold that vehicle, I was 55 years old. And so it puts him at 65. He was getting ready to it was a good time for him to take some chips off the table and move on.
Yeah.
But they said, Al, and my wife said, we're making good money. Everybody's comfortable. The business, you make the call.
Yeah.
Like Ron said, Al, if you want to sell, we sell. If you don't want to sell, we don't. They're going to put corporate's going to put the golden handcuffs on you for a little while. And I'm just going to go fish. I'll do some weird designs and do that. But they're going to handcuff you. If you want to live like that for a little while, that's fine with us.
Yeah.
So, and the deciding factor at that point in my life, I had like 20 something years into it. It was 24/7. My life was, that's all I did.
Yeah.
You talk about the passion. It took everything out of me.
Yeah.
This is what I did. So my wife had a bout with breast cancer at this exact same time.
Yeah.
And it was a realization that I'm busting my butt. We're at a point in life. I realized, I might, I could lose her.
Right.
I could have lost her. It worked out fine. Everything worked out well. She's thank God everything is good on that. But I'm reevaluating my life, and I'm getting a little bit older, and I just seen these things. Ron is getting a little long and toothy. This is the final security for everybody. So, I did it. And when you weighed everything, when I walked out and when I signed the final sheet of paper in New York, we sat down, we were the attorneys and everybody. We did the whole process. My mindset, when I walked out of that room and signed that, it was behind me. I accepted it and I never looked back. Yeah. I knew it would change. And in my mindset that this isn't going to be what it was. It's going to change. I understand that. I'm not going to have a post-sale remorse. I totally was ready to leave.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I had no regrets when I walked out there. I closed that chapter in my life, closed the door, and I was gone.
Yeah.
And never regretted it.
Yeah. Well, that's great insight, because I think we all will encounter that in our life at some level.
Sure.
And for Pete and I with Bash University, we've encountered that already. We will in the future. And I think when the time is right, you feel it in your soul.
You got it, man.
It's time to move on.
Most of us will just sell a 2004 Acura Legend.
Right. Most of us will sell. Most of us will sell just a used car. But,
all right.
It was a really
I'm
good
meeting
car.
somebody in the airport to sell them.
Right. But
we're not sure if we want to let it go.
Right. But here's the great thing, Alan. You've said this over and over. Like turning points in life, and when that door closed, another one opened for you, and very, 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 very big thing for you was you took a little time off. You said it earlier in the show. Your wife, Mary, she kind of said, "Hey, Al, you love TV. Go back to it." And you've started this new thing that you're doing now, and it's as good or better than what In-Fisherman was. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So talk about what you're doing now. Talk about Angling Edge. Talk about everything you're doing. I think it's awesome.
When we my last year of that non-compete, I did nothing. Yeah, you know, and I was just sort of, what am I going to do with my life? And I told you, my wife planted that seed with me sometime before that. And then it was a February. I'm running down on my running machine at home. And the month of February, cold. And, you know, and I kept thinking. And I'm a person of faith. I'm praying for a little direction in my life. What's next, Lord? What do I do? Yeah, you know, give me something. Tell me. And I got this gut feeling. It just kind of popped into me the idea, the title of the thing, to do a publication and call it Angling Edge. And I want you to close this thing with a little uplifting message that lifts people up. Yeah, you know, and keep lifted up in a world that can use a lot of lifting. Yeah. So that was it. I jumped on an airplane. I flew down. I flew down with my wife to Florida. Met with my brother Ron, and I said, "What do you think? What do you think on this? Want to get back?" My sister-in-law looked and she says, "Here we go again." So Jimmy and Danny and Bill, they started Linder Media Productions at that time, and they had a contract with Rapala for 18 months. It was a huge piece of production work. Yeah. So Linder Media Production was already in existence. So we brought it under their umbrella to shoot, edit, and do everything. And my non-compete was done May 6th that year. I gave a call to Dan Sura, who was our operations officer for many, many years at In-Fisherman, and worked with him, Gary McAnally, who was our chief financial officer, and they were working in some other businesses. And I says, "Guys, this is what we're going to do." They both said, "We're in." They gave their two-week resignation, jumped back on, came back, rolled up their sleeves, and we started Angling Edge, and it grew from that. The seed of Angling Edge. Today we produce Angling Edge, Fishing Edge, Lund, the ultimate fishing experiences, which it is a different model Lund boat with a different pro staff member, and why they rigged that boat for a certain kind of fish. It could be catfish, it could be musky fishing, it could be walleye, it could be tournament bat fishing. Gussie's on their staff as an example. And I do the Angling Buzz, which is a 5-state regional in-season thing, and it's covered with guide reports and everything. Its main emphasis is the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. That's what that service is, and it's in the middle of the summer tourism season. That entity, and then we did Angling Buzz Ice, and then we do a show called the Ontario Experience. We produce 6 television shows. The Ontario Experience is a destination piece for the Canadian Chamber of Commerce with all their lodges. Yeah. You know, and it's a tourism oriented piece. So we're doing six shows today as we sit here. And, you know, I'm at a point. I told my wife when we started this, she says, "How long are you going to do this, Al?" And I said, "I'm going to go till I'm 75 years old." And then we're going to revisit. And that was, I turned 76 this past. And she says, "Okay." So I do that. So my point now, I'm starting to cut back. There's no question. The young guys take this ball and run, baby. I've been on the front lines a long time. I want more fun fishing. Fun fishing. Like I like to find some bites that are going from 10 to about 5. I don't want to have to be up at 3 a.m, load everything up to get for a morning bite that lasts 45 minutes like you had to for the tournament, and hope you get the draw to get to the spot. Yeah. You know, that aspect of my life, I'm just kind of mellowing out. I want to I fish a little bit slower. Like I said, I'm not as mad at those fish as I used to be.
Well, maybe it's a good time for you to step back in the tournament trail, Al. Like Rick Clunn just won a couple.
I want the senior tour, baby. I want the senior tour. If the wind blowing more than 10 miles an hour, cancel the tournament. I don't want to go out.
That's right. Well, everyone from the Bass staff watches this show. They're watching right now. I know they are, whether they want to admit it or not. So there you have it. We want the senior tour, guys. Come on, bring it back. I did want to jump into something because I know we got tons of questions piling up, and I want to get to Riz, but I did want to ask one more thing, and it's actually like advice for me because with Angling Edge, faith is such an important thing for you, Al, and it's an important part of your message, and it's what you live for, and you've got people that love it, and you have people that sort of criticize it. They don't think
absolutely.
It fits.
I get it.
And I've dealt with that my whole career. I've dealt with criticism, and I've dealt with people not agreeing with me and my personality and my message. And how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the criticism,
Mike, you said it a little while ago. Your gut feeling. You're right in what you're doing, and you hold to what you believe.
Yeah.
Just go do it.
Yeah.
Don't be swayed by this stuff. Don't worry about it. Blow it off.
Right.
Just blow it off, man.
Yeah.
Get that negative out.
Right.
Don't dwell. That negative stuff will kill you. It'll kill you. And don't take it. Don't let that seed plant in your heart. Just take it and just blow it off.
Yeah.
Don't hold to it. That worst thing, that negativity, that is bad stuff, man.
That's great advice. All right, Rizzo, I know you are so backed up. Let's do some housekeeping. Riz, what do you got for Al on the IMs? Let's catch up.
Okay, so from Sean Lay wants to know, Al, how have you been able to continually adapt through the decades of fishing and remain such an important figure and a legend?
Yeah.
Number one, I still like what I'm doing. I love the game. I love the game, and I like what's new and exciting. I'm a student. I'm a groupie and I'm a student at the same time. There's always stuff to learn, and it's still exciting. For me, what I really like to do is go to new water that I haven't fished. And luckily, I live in a state between here and Ontario and Wisconsin and the Dakota. I'm around a huge amount of water, and a lot of the fun for me is getting in a little boat, a small boat, and going into all these little puddle lakes. We call them the pig ponds for bass. These are these small eutrophic lakes that are all over Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakota. No tournaments are on them. Nobody's on them. There's not a lot of houses on them. There's no cement ramps. You got to you find a road goes by the side of the road, and you got to have a roller trailer to get the boat off. Yeah. I love doing that. To go into these little I love doing it, and I can do it 7 days a week. Go on, pick one, or you could fish 2 lakes in a day. You get the map out and you go pick 2 lakes in a day. And every time I get free time now, I got my buddy Kurt and we do this all the time. When Ron was alive, I would take him. This is what we did. We would run to different lakes, these little lakes off the beaten path. And about 1 out of 10 of them, you would find a sparkling gem, man. You'd have to go to that many, and then you would find one of these gems. And I was always I looked for a place. This would be a good lake for a frog show. This is a good crankbait lake. It's got a lot of clean rocks. And over the years, sometimes I might not, when you find one of these gems, I might not go back there and film it for 2-3 years until you needed a certain bite on a certain kind of bait. And this lake was really, really, really right for it. And that's what I love to do now. I enjoy doing that.
How are you able to do that? You're Al Linder. I mean, come on. Are you getting swamped at the launch ramp?
I try to find these secret little ramps. And again, I got the blessing from my wife. She says, "Go, man, go." You want to do it? Go. Yeah. And she's been my encouragement and all this. But she never, ever, ever that's a dumb idea. Never.
Can I ask?
If you want to do it? Go.
I just wanted to know, and I want to bring it back to the St. Johns River just went down for the Bassmaster Elites. You had a top 10 Bassmaster tournament there in 1975.
Wow.
Jeez.
What did this tournament? Were you fishing the same stuff like Lake George and Run the River, or what just what happened that was
I did good on the bassman. Did good on bass, and then remember I mentioned that American Angler was down there at that time, and they had the tournaments in Florida. I did a 7th and a 4th on the St. John's in those tournaments. They're in all the fish that I caught were all fishing channels. It was all pre-spawn spawn fish, all on channels. Yeah, Texas rig worms and lizards and spinner baits and
same
those
stuff
are the
they did this like man-made canals, the same place where guys did good in this tournament.
Exactly. And by the way, you mentioned earlier all my buddies that in this area up here. You mentioned Seth Fighter, Gussie, both the Jets. Look at the standings that they walk out of. They started this tournament looking really good. Fighter came in, he had 8 pounds the first day.
Yeah.
And he makes the top 10. This kid
smokes.
and Gussie, I watched these guys grow up as kids. They were bubble gummers in a boat hitchhiking rides. And they're sleeping at the access. They had that passion we were talking about? Their story. They're just not all of a sudden, ta-da, they're a hero. They paid their dues, man.
Wow.
They paid their dues.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I hope they're probably not watching. Seth isn't because he's probably trying to get sleep for a tournament tomorrow. But I hope they get to hear that. That is unbelievable.
Yes.
I want to get one real quick, and then Riz will get back to the regular IMs. And this one is coming over on Facebook, Al, and it's Steve Stavarshak. Am I saying that right? Steve Stavarshak. Stavarshak wants to know, Al, I love your accent. It would be a dream come true if you could say one thing for me. Big bass love a leech, and it's critical.
Yes. Hold on, wait.
Big bass love a leech, and it's critical.
Oh!
Big bass love a leech, and it's critical.
There you go, Steve.
Hold on, one more, Al.
Big bass love a leech, and it's critical.
There you go. That's for Steve Stavarshak.
I did a commercial, Mike. I did this with Bill Dance and Hank Parker for Minn Kota Trolling Motors many years ago. And we had to speed up the audio. You had a lot of copy to say. And one of the lines were on the John boat bow. The bow of the John boat, the way and it's John boat bow. Every time I talk to Dance and Hank Parker, that's the first thing they are still think it's hilarious. They couldn't understand what I was saying.
That's
day in and day out.
It's critical.
Dude, coming from Hank Parker couldn't understand something that you were saying. That's crazy.
How dare he?
How dare he? And then real quick, over on Twitter, I want to make sure I get all the social accounts. Over on Twitter, Jim Jones wants to know if Boyd Duckett wanted to buy In-Fisherman back in 1998, would you have sold it to him?
I don't know. Those are good. That's a hard question now. I don't know that. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know the man personally. I'd have to know a lot more about. I do not know him personally, so I can't answer that question.
Yeah. All right, there you go, Jim. That's for you. Riz, what else we got coming on the regular IMs?
Yeah, so Dan Herring wants to know, Al, who was the best fisherman in the Linder family?
Ooh, good question.
I am. Jimmy, my nephew Jimmy is pretty darn good though too. Jimmy's really good.
He's good.
Jeremy is really good. Yeah, these guys. I got a great staff of guys we work with here, and every single one of them. I got you're talking about business, Mike, and some of the companies you've worked with, many of the big companies, in our business, and I one of the decisions that I have made, Ron and I went back and it's held true. I would never hire anybody in upper management if they didn't fish in upper management.
Right.
I would never hire a person if they didn't fish. And one of the biggest mistakes and hindrances our industry experiences is some of the leaders in upper management positions in corporate that simply know more about a golf ball and a golf club than a spinnerbait and a fishing rod.
Yeah.
And the decision-making process is impacted in a big way.
Yeah.
And I can't say enough about
I'd
that.
agree.
Well,
agree.
can I gotta ask this? Isn't that hiring alcoholics to run the distillery? If they know their job and they're diligent in what they do, and I've been fortunate enough to pick really good people that I worked with all my life, and these people have been. It is such a blessing when you get somebody that you could work with like that. They're self-motivated. You don't have to sit there and they got a job to do, and if it takes 12 hours that day to do it, they do it.
Yeah.
See,
you don't have to watch over them. They just do. Here's what we got to do, guys. Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
They go and make it happen, man.
Yeah.
See, Al, I got to disagree with you because I watch Mike and his company from a distance, and I watch them hire fishermen, and they fire within 6 months because they never show up to work because they're always
There's a fine line there. There's a fine line.
That is true. No, that's true. There is a fine line. That is true. Very true.
They're not productive during the spawn.
They're not productive during the time when the bass are shallow and biting.
Or the frog bite.
Right, or the frog bite, or the fall topwater bite, or the spring, whatever. They're not productive.
They're just not productive.
That actually brought something up that I definitely wanted to touch on, which is your fishing family, from your brother Ron to your son Troy to your whole family. You've got it. You've got that bug. But I did want to spend a second and talk about Ron because Ron was such an inspiration for all of us. And you guys had a 10-year difference between you, but I've never seen you guys that work together like in harmony. Your whole lives you've had this connection where you work together. And Ron, I want to tell you this story, Al, because every time I saw Ron, whether it was at a sports show or a media event or a Rapala event, wherever I saw him, he was the single best storyteller I've ever met in my life. Like every time I sat with Ron, I would sit and we'd talk, and I would just be drinking a beer or whatever. All of a sudden, look at my watch, and dude, like it was like 2 hours had passed, and it felt like 10 minutes. You know what I mean? And and I'm like, God, he's a great storyteller. The way he would tell stories, you felt like you were there. You know, tell me a little bit about Ron. He was such an inspiration for a lot of people.
Yeah. It was for two brothers to have a 10-year gap in their age. From the time I was little, our relationship. He was my big brother. He watched over me. He protected me. Took me fishing. Got really exposed me to fishing. He's seen that I had a burning desire and really good at this, and he helped build it, nurture it, and feed it. He was my best friend.
Yeah.
We were in business. Our first business together was in high school. I had a tackle company in the basement of my parents' house called Linder Manufacturing. We made jigs and spinner baits and sold them at my parents' house. In there and built it. And so that was my first taste of business in the sport fishing industry. We sold it after I graduated from high school. I went to Wisconsin to be a fishing guide and went from there. I'll never forget that I left. I had $1,800 in my pocket, man. A Ford station wagon, sleeping bag, all my equipment. I'm going to go chase a dream, be a guide, and make a living in a fishing business. And that kind of led to it. But Ron nurtured me all along the way. Not only that we were in business together on different projects our entire life.
Yeah.
Entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now $1,800
a rarity that we were able to stay together in family-run businesses.
Yeah.
It gets really challenging. There is no question
Yeah.
about it. Ours just worked good. We would just work with each other's strong points, and it just worked for us for that. For that reason, if I had to pick a reason, you respected your strong points, and would work through everything without having emotion get involved in it and get to a decision.
Yeah. Well, I would say one of the best duos ever in the sport. What you and Ron did is amazing, and he was an amazing guy, and he will be missed for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that from our whole family, Mike.
Yeah.
I know Dawn and some of our family, my boy, everybody's watching, and we just really, really appreciate those words. The outpouring from the industry was staggering.
Yeah.
For it and the impact. So much appreciated, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. I want to talk about that. I had a note here that I missed and I want to talk about. Dude, you're in the Hall of Fame, Al, for everything. You're in the Pro Angling Hall of Fame. You're in the Fishing Hall of Fame, the Minnesota the Journalist Hall of Fame. Is there any Hall of Fame that you're not in that you need to be in? We can make a phone call for you here.
I've just that when you get acknowledgments like that from your peer group in the industry, the word to me comes to me, it's humbling.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
When you're here, your peer group does that. It's a humbling experience, and it keeps you motivated to do what you do.
Yeah, it's awesome. Riz, couple more before we're coming to the end here. We got a couple more. Yeah, Bri, what do you got? You got one?
Yeah.
What do you got, Bri?
Well, we got stuff.
Oh, okay. What do you got for me?
I got some comments to catch up on.
Yeah.
Through the evening, there's been a lot. Let's see. Henry Churchill over on Facebook said Al invented Lake X. He believes Al Lindner was the first to coin the term Lake X.
Wow.
Okay.
That's one I didn't know about. I've stole that then. If that's true, I've stolen that term.
Yeah.
We did a series. I produced a series for 3M on it, and it was following a largemouth bass. A largemouth bass's life throughout the season on a little lake that I lived on here, and we built the lake, and we did it. It was an educational piece, a 4-part series that 3M produced, and we called the lake X. And it had all the habitat. We built all the habitat was in it. We talked about how to fish move. It was. I look at it every once in a while now, and it was an amazing a piece of work for that period of time to see what was done with that thing.
Lake X
build it into a map like.
Wow. Lake
We
X.
just-
All right, Bri, I know you got a lot more.
Yeah.
Come on, catch up, Bri. What do
We
you
had a
got?
couple more. Just real quick, Jeremiah comment, Riz looks like every gas station owner in Indiana.
That's a good one.
Al, one lure for life. If you had one lure for life, what would that be?
One what?
One lure for life.
One lure.
One bait.
One lure. If I had to pick one lure,
That's
it would be a jig.
Okay.
Ooh.
It would have to be a jig.
Is it ice jig fall in
You
that
just can do
category,
so. You just can do so much with it all throughout the season.
or- Okay.
Yeah, that's a good
What's
one.
your go-to jig, Al? If you're going to a lake you've never been to, and you're gonna put a flipping jig on, whatever. What's your go-to weight, color?
If you're really pushing me to one weight, one size, one color, if it all goes down, it would be a 1/2 ounce. If I had to restrict it to one weight, it would be a 1/2 ounce for all season long, most cover conditions. I pick a 1/2 ounce, and I guess I would go with a bread and butter black blue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd have to agree with that one too. I'd be right there with you. I had one.
If you get that restrictive, that would be my pick.
Yeah, I had one come through real quick from Instagram that I had to put through because I think it's funny.
Yes.
It's from Byron Velvick.
Oh.
And Byron Velvick wants to know, Al, where do you get all your energy from? This blue pill is not working for me anymore.
Oh, Byron, man. If I had to give some, if I had to give some closing words of wisdom, guys, I can encourage people that are listening. I really believe this seriously. Go fish every chance you could. Go fish. I don't care how old you are. Don't look at the weather. You get an opportunity to get in that boat and go on the water for 2, 3, 4 hours. Take it and go.
Hell yeah.
Most people think the weather is so bad. That's when you learn stuff. You learn how to pick those bad weather. But post frontal, go every chance you can go on the water. Go. It will make you a better fisherman without a doubt. You'll understand how to adjust to the constant weather conditions. And another thing, go to a lake you've never been on before.
Yes.
Pick a couple presentations you never ever used before.
That's right.
That you know work, and go get bid on them so your confidence grows.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'd agree with that one. That's
awesome.
a good one.
Wow.
Brian, Riz, what else you got? Any last minute questions coming through for Al?
I got a comment on the board, a question on the board. Close us out with the funniest or the most memorable moment that you ever had in your entire career of filming. One story that you have, just lay it down on us. What do you got?
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure you got 100, but
no, I'll give you one. I'm going to keep. We're talking a lot to a bass audience and a bass crowd, so it'll be a bass story. And it was the tournament that I won in Tennessee. Bass fishing, we were saying at that point in time, bass fishing was just, really becoming popular and all over the country. So our audience is up north. I wanted to show them what a bass tournament was like. So I started in my house in Brainerd, Minnesota, rigging what I'm going to rig to go to this tournament, Took them through the states, drove me down there, fished the tournament. I'm going to make a long story short. I ended up winning it. Is that a coincidence or not? Or is that isn't a coincidence? That's a sign, man. Something was right.
Wow.
And you filmed the first time you ever did. You went down and you won the thing.
How about it?
Good night.
The odds on that, guys, are unbelievable when you think about it.
Do you still have the
Especially
trophy?
at that time?
Do you still have the trophy? Like, I'm still hanging on to these in the back.
Yeah, I got to go. Oh yeah, I got the trophies and I got the original patch jackets of old that we used to have in the old days. Today we got all our sponsors on them, but
Yep.
These were the patch jackets from all the different tournament sites that you wore. And from a few years of them, I got that. My wife kept it. It's kind of fun to look at all the different sites and stuff that we were at that period of time with bass.
I love it. What's in the background? Is that a lake map over your shoulder?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the United States. That's my guy.
That's the Lake of the United States, Pete.
And Canada.
Come on, Pete. It's Conus, dude.
And you know where you got to go to get bit. I look at that. There's one quick thing. I've been fortunate enough to fish in every state except Maine. I have not been to Maine yet.
Wow. Hawaii, Alaska, but not Maine.
Well, not Alaska, Hawaii. A lot of people don't know that there's peacock bass in one lake in Hawaii.
Wow.
There's peacocks.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the Lake of the United States.
It's crazy.
Well done, Peter.
Good job, Pete.
I'm just looking at the map. I'm thinking like that southern tip of Florida. You could probably throw, a spoonbill and catch something right there.
Right now, as we sit here, my nephew Jimmy, he left yesterday morning to dodge this brutal cold. He's going down. He's fishing some tide water on the Alabama-Florida border by the Panhandle. He's going to be fishing tide water down there for reds and bass for the next couple weeks.
Oh my God!
My heart goes out to him. I said, "You're the smart one. Why am I still here?" the frozen tundra.
Al, why did we ever stop migrating?
Yeah, we ask that all the time.
Mike, why don't you buy like a plantation down there and put Brian and I and Pete and Riz in the
Come on, man.
And bring old timers like me there too, Mike. I think this is a good idea. I'm encouraging you to do this too.
I'll actually work on like the other three.
You'll actually work?
I'll actually work.
Well, I've got the perfect piece of property.
The other
in
three are
mind,
going to
so-
fish. Dave will be out there looking at in the
Skunk-
trees.
I just need
skunk apes.
I need I need investors. I've got the perfect property in mind. I
Right,
just need
I'm
investors.
broke.
I've got just a couple more coming through on my end too. They just keep coming and coming. This is unbelievable, dude. Al, there are shows where our IM is like crickets. Like nobody wants to ask
we're so-
anything.
yeah, we
And
ignored
this
everybody
one,
tonight.
this one is just you've got people going crazy. I don't know something about it. You've got people ignite it. This one is from the mayor of Chicago. It comes through on Twitter, and the question is, Al, why does Babe Winkleman dress like you?
Lori Lightfoot checking in from Chicago.
I don't think we'll go there, Mike.
Okay.
Got it.
Maybe this is for another show. This is not for a public show, but Al, we'll have this conversation later. Me and you. for
Cheers,
sure.
Al.
Cheers to that. Yeah, that was a good one. And then I have another one. This one's just from Tony, and this was in reference to what we talked about earlier. And it's Al, has technology and electronics has it gotten too out of hand? When is enough enough? Electronics have come a long way from the Lowrance Red Box. What's your opinion?
Give me 2 more years to answer that.
Okay.
Two more years, and then I'd like to go back and visit that.
Yeah.
I don't think the jury isn't quite out there yet to see.
Okay. Yeah, we've had guests on lately. Randy Blockett
Randy
we've had
on, yeah,
on.
sure.
Very outspoken, Al,
Yeah.
on this new technology. It's getting too out of hand. It needs to be stopped. Very vocal on putting a kibosh on it in a tournament setting. I don't know where I stand on it. Where do you stand on it, Dave? Do you think is it okay?
I just learned tonight that things can see forward underwater. I don't even know. Who told me?
Wow. Okay. Good answer.
Technology doesn't reach everywhere.
It doesn't reach everywhere.
It takes a little while.
And then the last one I had, and this is a good one, and I'd like to know this one too, because we try to do a lot of this. But what do we need to do to grow the sport? How can we get more kids involved in fishing? And that one came from Carol over on Instagram.
Holy mackerel! To COVID did more in 2 months to get new anglers, and a lot of them young than our industry was able to do would take a kid fishing for 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it caused an explosion of new anglers, and many of them young anglers.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Now the negative thing, this happened so fast. The industry, I think, got caught short, not expecting this kind of pressure on the resources, meaning the accesses and everything.
Right.
We had talked about getting new anglers in. Nobody expected this kind of, the numbers are roughly, for what I'm hearing, about 8 million, and a lot of these are young people. So that's good. That's really good. And now if we teach them right about managing resources, the value of a resource, appreciate the fish, be cognizant of the environments. Yeah, this is all pluses, guys.
Yeah. It's a big positive of this. It's a weird time. We've talked about it last couple shows, but a big positive is there are more people fishing, more people spending time in the outdoors, and that's a good thing. All right, Bri, I know Ken Duke is a big supporter of everything we do. Bash you.
Good friend of all of ours.
Good friend of all of ours. Ken's got a good question, comment to throw out there. Pass it on for us. What do we got?
So I was talking to Ken earlier, Al, and he told me about a series you did, Feeding Habits of Bass, back in mid-'70s, 74. And you fished with Rick Clunn on your boat. And during one of those filming sessions, Rick caught his PB, his biggest bass to that point in his life. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we were doing a show. It was in Florida. And at that point in time, Glenn Lau, one of the greatest underwater photographers for years, he was the producer, director, and he put this show together. And it was called the Coors Outdoors. Coors Beers, Coors Outdoors. It only lasted a couple seasons. I hosted the northern part of it. Rick Clun hosted the southern part. A guy named Green, I forget his first name right now, did it from the West Coast. And we had a guy out in the East. Right now, I can't remember. So there was 4 hosts that would make up these shows, and we would come in with different pieces of subject matter that kind of brought the show together. And we were shooting in Florida, and Rick got that fish. By the way, that fish came off of a boat dock, if you remember. That was another, we were right by another boat dock, and it was like, 10-pound class fish. And Glenn was in the water. Says you were shooting. I mean, the thing was, it was a great story at that point in time.
So according to Ken, Rick caught the fish, and while he's admiring it, he dropped it.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened. Well, the fish shook, and the way the fish shook, he dropped it. Yeah.
Wow. In the lake.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
And Rick tried to dive in for it, and you had to grab him by the ankles and pull him out.
Well, it wasn't the ankles. We just grabbed them.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Oh my gosh, that's a good one. I would love to see that footage.
Yeah.
What if it exists out there?
It does exist. Ken has the VHS tape.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a VHS tape player. And I couldn't find it on YouTube.
Oh my god.
Just the way
But I did find some thirsty kid putting up a video of a bass eating a bluegill from 2 million views.
Yeah, just the way Al told that story. The rest of us would have told it anxious as ever to get to the point where he dropped it, and then I had to save him from jumping in the water. He didn't even mention that. You had to extract that from him.
I did.
Good guy.
Oh,
He's a veteran. He's seen it all.
Yeah.
Through many wars.
Al, I want to tell you, honestly, we've been doing this now. We came to the realization that we've been doing this strange, weird live podcast thing now for 7 years.
That's right.
And
wow.
This has been one of the most monumental nights that I've had to get to the look into your life and the impact you've had on the sport. And man, I'm still shook up. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. I'm honestly still shook up about this. So I can't thank you enough. I don't know what to say except thank you for everything that you've done, the inspiration for me, for us in this room, for a lot of people that love fishing. You've changed it all for us, and I don't know that we could ever repay you for that. But thank you for coming on the show.
Mike, I consider it an honor. I appreciate those words of encouragement, guys. I had a fun evening in here. I'm going to go pick up a pizza and bring it home for my wife.
Yeah! What a way to end an Ike Live show right there.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you,
Take
Al.
care.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Al
Good
Linder,
luck.
everybody. Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
My goodness.
Amazing. Man, what a guest. I'm honestly choked up. I'm still choked up. That was great. That was a dream come true, Dave. We've had a lot here in the last couple of months, but that was one of them for sure.
I was thinking when he said when he left high school with $1,800 to go guide, he made it sound like it wasn't a lot of money, but I'm doing the math. That's like 1963.
Oh yeah.
He could
buy a house.
He could have bought a Studebaker and a Triumph motorcycle like with that money, and still went and guided.
And half of Costa Rica.
Yeah. Well, the interesting part of that story that I hope I'm interpreting this right, but so he created, and it reminds me a lot of like Jake Haas. I see a lot of that same hustle. But Al and Ron created this lure company. Like literally, Al was still in high school, and they're doing these like lures and Lindy rigs and spinner jig rigs.
Yeah, the Lindy.
And he made a connection. He met this guy at a sports show, and it was the original owner of Maurice Fishing Tackle. And you know Maurice is a big distributor. And he saw this stuff, and I think he's the one that originally bought Lindy from these guys. And again, at the time, that was a lot of money. Yeah. So here's these kids that are hustling and they get this big check, and
Yeah.
they go and try to live their dreams. You know,
They did, man.
it's crazy. What a success story. You know,
That energy level, though,
Yeah.
is what propels it all.
all
Yes.
that from fish,
That
Bri.
life force.
Crazy life force.
What a guy, dude.
It was
And-
amazing.
And giving up tournament fishing, like he's bit by the bug, but
Yeah.
you know, he saw the path and he made the call.
Yeah.
And you know, it was the right call for him.
Yeah.
He's the original YouTuber.
He is the original YouTuber. I mean, one
Oh
of the
my
things
gosh,
that he said that,
yeah.
yeah, one of the things he said I can relate to, and at this stage of my life right now, for sure, is he's addicted to the tug of a fish. And he wants other species. He loves it. Like you could see him talking about like walleye, catfish, pike, like it all matters the same, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm getting to that point where it's not just about bass.
No,
you know?
it's
You're not
absolutely
nuisance
not.
by catfish? Come on.
Huh?
Get out of here. You're not nuisance by a catfish with
No!
a crouch or crank.
Are you kidding me? A 30 or 40 pound catfish?
How
Get
many,
outta here.
how many times is that 30, 40 pounds? It's
I've
usually a
caught a
pound
few-
fish that ends up you get
Oh, well, we're not talking about shitty South Jersey.
You're making it sound like every fish is a gift from God.
Give him
Here
a
comes
break.
Dave.
Kind of is.
I don't like Sober Dave. Thumbs down to Sober Dave.
I'm not sorry. I had a shot in a beer.
No,
Boo.
no. I mean,
That's,
they're all- they're
that's
all-
mouthwash for you.
dude, they're all special. They're all important. They're all special. They're all important.
Yeah.
All right.
Sober Dave sucks.
His enthusiasm is contagious, and you can
It
tell
is.
how he built the business that
Yes.
way. I mean, it is just you can't help it. I'm more enthused by listening to him speak.
Yeah.
About what it's crazy. It's just the influence that he has. It makes you want to do more. It's like, oh my gosh,
He'd be a
there's
great
so much
hockey
more.
coach with that accent and that,
He's
and that energy.
He would be successful anywhere he went
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that energy and it's great.
We
dude.
got Mary Lindner on the message board. Mary Lindner, Mrs. Al here. I'm waiting for my pizza. Ike, I love the show tonight.
Yeah! Shout out to Mary for watching tonight.
Ask Mary if they have good pizza out
Yeah,
there
yeah,
in
what-
Minnesota. I mean, what do they got out
Yeah,
there?
what are the toppings?
Yeah, I'd like to know the topics. And
I got to know
Yeah,
the
and
toppings.
that-
mongoose hip or
yeah,
something.
mongoose. Thank you, Mary.
beaver tail with
yeah.
extra cheese.
Thank you for allowing us to have Al for over an hour. That was awesome.
No, it's
So,
gonna be some kind of meat medley, right?
yeah.
It's got to be. It's Minnesota. They
Ve-
meats and cheeses,
venison and pineapple or something.
Cheese is big in that part of the world. Yeah,
ham and black
cheese,
olives.
cheese is real big.
That's money.
Dude, I hope everybody had a good time. But here, listen to this, Bri.
Mike,
The show is not over yet.
No.
Because we have another big couple of things.
I got something
we're
before you
doing
get
here.
into that.
Yeah, what do you got?
Whatever you're doing. All right, hold on.
Uh-oh. Wow. Uh-oh. Look at this.
Put this in front of you, and then we'll go back to the microphone.
Okay. Wow. All right. All right. We've got a little, it looks like a cedar box.
No,
here.
that's called a Dave. What is it? Humidor. Very good.
A
Dave.
humidor. Okay. We've
This
got
is a humidor. Apparently, on your last Mike and Becky live,
yes.
you mentioned that you were going to now turn into a professional.
I wanted to start smoking a pipe. I
right.
said. Yeah.
Grab that black bag.
Okay.
See the black little black.
Yeah.
Open it up.
All right.
Somebody sent you a pipe, man.
Wow.
Oh, open it up and look at it.
Oh, look at that. Pete, look at this. You know about pipes. You've smoked them since the 50s.
Look at it. What's it say on it?
Let's see. Oh, it's got the Ike logo embezzled.
Embezzled.
And the,
Isn't it embroidered?
no, embroidered is clothing. This is embezzled or carved
Embezzled.
into the.
You're such an idiot.
Oh man, I like this.
Embezzled.
Let me at least get the good. It's funny because the mouthpiece is offset.
Well, it's because it comes off to clean the shit.
Yeah, you can just screw it to make it
Oh,
straight.
I
So you're not sitting with a crooked
So,
pipe.
Sean Forrest, Rich, you know Sean. Sean's from down near the Chesapeake. He's a fan of Ike Live, Bass U, and caught up with him earlier tonight. He made that pipe for you, and that's his own special blend.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, smell that, dude.
I love.
Oh, man, dude.
Wow,
I
I'll have to get a
love the
little
smell
in
of
here
that
tonight.
tobacco.
I feel a little bit smarter.
This is and this particular blend right here is 50% unique,
It's a little open.
Yes.
Be careful.
50% buttered rum.
Yeah,
open.
smell it.
Be
Smell it.
careful,
Smell
be
it.
careful.
Let me smell that.
I don't want him to spill it all over the place because he didn't know I opened it.
Wow. Now, wonder what the unique is.
Yeah.
Is there
Like the
anything,
unique rockers.
Unique
yeah.
rockers,
Is there anything
probably.
magical in there?
No, there's nothing magical.
Oh, nothing.
Not
Regular.
that kind of magic.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to get into this.
There's also a stash of stogies.
Acid cigars. I see the cigars. Yeah.
It's full.
Acid cigars. Look
There's-
at this.
There is one for everybody.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
There's heavy. There's at least 6 cigars in here.
Yes, there's one for everybody.
That's
Rebecca,
phenomenal.
Like a
myself
stogie.
included.
A cigar cutter. This is actually what they used to give me my vasectomy the other day.
That's right.
There it goes.
Took the whole thing
I
off.
think that's what Lena Bobbitt used. That poor guy, John.
Wow,
Wayne.
what a cool gift. Yeah.
Very nice.
Wow.
That's very
Thank
generous.
you. Thank you very much. That was great.
Let me see that box.
Yeah, it's a great box.
Take a look at it, Sober Dave.
Acid cigar.
Super Dave.
Sober Dave Suggs.
We got a couple other cool things happening before this show ends. I mean, that was again, Brian. Let me just say, thank you for setting that up.
Oh,
I
dude,
mean,
bucket list.
This is like 4 or 5 shows in a row. Every show, I'm like in tears, thanking you.
No,
for
we
these
got
guys.
to completely shit the bed on the next
Now
one.
we have to shit.
We have to reset the
Yeah.
bar down at the bottom.
Is there
Right.
instructions on how you do this?
Where
What
we
do
used to
you
be.
stuff the tobacco in there, and then you light it. Like,
I
like
mean,
this?
we're gonna have to use the Google machine.
All
Figure
right.
it out. Yeah. This show is brought to you by Mystery Tackle Box, and of course,
I know how to do it.
we are the only live video podcast that does a live unboxing every week. And here's something really amazing for you tonight, Brian the Carpenter.
Yeah.
Instead of doing a pro box tonight, Ike Live is actually unboxing an elite box tonight
Elitist.
here live. So, this is my favorite part of the show. You know the deal. I usually get the pen here if I don't break the tip of the pen. And I like to bust that seal. We're going to get that busted seal right there. You hear this? Listen, ready? Here it comes. That's right. You heard that, right? Did you hear that? That's that seal busting. And we're going to unbox this amazing thing. I'm going to pick something out. I'm going to pass it to Dave. Dave will pass it to Brian the Carpenter. And I think, Pete, you also have a box there in front of you. So
I have a pro
let's,
box, but I'm still going to pick out something cool.
All right. So, man, I'm looking in this one. This one's stacked. I just want to say the elite box is stacked. Heavy stack going on right now. All right, I'm just going to go to this one. Dave, I'm going to pass this to Dave. All right, Brian, I'm going to start right here. We've got Savage Gear, a 4D crawl. 4D crawl. And this is interesting because a lot of the crawls that I fish, Berkeley crawls that I fish, are crawl looking. They look like a crawl. They have regular curl tails. But dude, this is a spitting image of a crawfish. Like this is like they molded an actual crawfish. It looks real. It says it's Senate. I could see this thing in clean water, maybe on a bed. I could see this thing being viable. I could see it working on a jig header as a trailer. Savage Gear 4D crawl. This is something I wouldn't normally buy on my own. It's kind of cool. They put it in my hands. Dave, what do you got here?
I got something pretty rad. It is called a Sakushi bug.
Sakushi bug.
I picture this on the back of my Bitsy jigs, man. This thing is just rad, dude.
Oh yeah, it's almost like a Ned rig.
Bite
crawl.
it down.
Yeah,
Of
like a
course I'm gonna
Ned
bite
rig
half
crawl.
of it off.
Yeah.
but, man, it's really cool.
Wow.
Because those little crawfish, they don't have gigantic claws like
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Those claws are really
I like
small.
the color too. More grayish blue instead of a traditional
like
bright
the ones
blue.
that are like half the size of your pinky don't have massive pinchers.
Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Let me bring this over to you, Brian.
Yeah.
Sure.
Pete, let's
You
go
wanna
to you
mute me
real
so you don't
quick
yell at me?
while we're passing this to Brian. Pete, what do you got in your MTB
Man,
box?
I have a Blakemore Roadrunner.
Ah!
Like I don't think you guys can see. There's a lot of glare coming off, but it's the original horsey head. Remember the horsey head, Mike? That's what we used to call it.
Oh yeah, horsey head.
The
yeah.
horsey head. It's a marabou.
Yeah.
Underspin. Jimmy Houston. Fished these forever and ever. And I want to give a shout out to Harmony Tackle, which is in my box. Harmony Tackle, big supporter of Bass University.
There you go.
What?
So some cool stuff in my box.
Very cool. Horsey head, bringing it back.
This is amazing.
It's pretty. That Savage crawl is pretty. It looks real. It's pretty. It's dead on.
Wow.
I mean, they like got to crawl
That's
and
the
put
size,
it in a mold.
That's the size of the pincers. Dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Brian the Carpenter, what do you got in our amazing MTB Elite box tonight? What are you picking out to show everybody here? What do you got?
Well, thanks for asking, Michael.
Well,
Let's start with the net bait.
In there.
we got a whole lot of plastics tonight. Little net bait, pack a crawl,
Pack of slam.
pack a slam.
Got a
some
package
slam.
of pack of slams. We got some macuro. We got this thing here.
Yeah.
Some of these little swim
Pretty cool.
jammies.
Yeah.
One of these here. Goggle eyes.
Goggle eye.
What is goggle eye?
Are we giving this Pro Box to anybody?
No, it's an elite box, David.
Elite Box? We are giving it to someone?
I don't know. I don't know. There's somebody on the message board tonight that won a box from December ain't got it, so probably not.
Just trying to determine if I'm stealing this or not. That's
Put
all.
it in
Steal
your
away.
pocket.
Steal
Dave.
it,
Put it in
Dave.
your
Steal it,
pocket.
Dave. Feel free
Don't
to steal
matter.
it. Doesn't matter. Nobody cares. All right, Brian's got some good stuff in the elite box, and there you have it. And once again, Pete, we talk about it every week on
Hold
Mike
on.
Live.
Was the popcorn jig in there again?
Yeah, popcorn jig was in there again.
Oh. Yeah, they gave it a different name. It's like the firecracker name.
Firecracker.
But
Cracker. Jig.
yeah, but no, that is a good little jig.
That smells good.
It's going to be neat.
Oh, yeah. It smells good. Once again, let me remind everybody the amazing benefit of Mystery Tackle Box, both the Pro Box and Elite Box, putting a lot of stuff in your hands that's cutting edge. You might not normally buy on your own, putting it right in your hands once a month. Check them out, mysterytacklebox.com. Also want to remind everybody, Brian the Carpenter, we've been drinking these amazing Moon Ramblers all night. They're so good. If you want to try a Founders, if you're watching, dude, there's people watching all over the country, and they're like, Founders? I ain't got Founders around me. I bet you do, and there's a really good way, and that is to use the Founders app, Brian the Carpenter, right?
Yeah.
They got a really cool app where you put in your zip code, and it tells you the closest place that will sell Founders beer. So go to founders.com, download the app. You can find out where you get this amazing beer.
It's good stuff, man.
Really
Very
freaking good.
Yep.
It's really freaking good.
And so is Tidco whiskey.
Riz, I know we had a million great IMs tonight. I know it was hard to shuffle through those, but want to finally give this away too. We had a lot of great viewers tonight on Facebook, and of course we had the like and share tonight going on. And this is a great gift bag that has all of our sponsor products. Liquid Mayhem, Heshy, Flambeau, everything's in here. Weighs about 20 pounds. Who is our Facebook like and share winner tonight, Riz?
Yeah, we had a ton of people on Facebook, ton of people on the website, everywhere across the board. It was awesome. Thanks, guys, for being on with us.
Thank you very
Over
much.
300 shares tonight. That's freaking awesome.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
But I just put all the names through the randomizer, and we have a winner tonight, Mr. Chuck Powell. Congratulations,
Chuck Powell!
All right, Chuck Woolery.
Live gift bag.
I did see a comment earlier from somebody on early in the show on YouTube was trying to find Dave's Insta. Dave, what is your Instagram handle?
David Brodzik.
Spell it, please.
As if anybody could spell your
It's
name.
David Brodzik.
Yeah.
And
BORODZIUK.
Correct.
At Capri Pants was suggested by Travis Wise, who was wiling out on our Instagram comments at your behest.
Said I should be.
It was suggesting it might be at Capri Pants.
Oh.
Nature fan. Look for the
Travis was-
tagline. Tagline Nature fan.
Travis was wiling on it,
I was
bro.
thinking of clam diggers. All right, now capri pants. No, chicks wear capri pants.
Yes.
We got a picture of our buddy Tom wearing capri pants.
Well, now it's you.
Somebody sent it to. I
Clam
never wore
diggers.
The
them.
worm is turned.
Yeah. Good old Tom. How old's Tom now? 49?
Yeah.
We're all 49, Mike.
I'm not 49. Speak for
You
yourself.
will be in June.
Fuck that, I'm 48, bro.
You're about to be. Yo, fights are on tonight, man. UFC. By the
Are
way,
they?
Jim Miller was supposed to fight tonight.
I saw that. His
fight got canceled. Bobby King Green.
medical issue or what?
Yeah, I don't know if it was weight cut related or what happened, so I didn't catch what it was. But yeah, Jim's like chasing down 40. Was it 40 wins?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
yeah, he's
He wants
a
it.
legend, dude.
Yeah, he is a legend.
pretty wild.
Yeah. Shout out to Jim Miller. We need to get Jim back on. We had Jim on one of the early shows. He was one of our better early shows.
For sure.
When him and his brother came down. That was a good show. Our early shows, we didn't have that many good ones, but that was a good one.
Yeah, and the one the week before was the Mark McCallum. And
No, that was a great one.
Dude, they were both amazing.
That's top 5 still. That was that was another great one. Yeah. And that's back when the world was normal. We could have people in studio. Hopefully it gets back to that. Because I do miss that.
People.
I do miss that. We're going to get Riz and Pete back in the studio sooner or later.
Pete ain't coming.
2025, 6, maybe 2030. We'll get him back in the studio.
Pete's tires have been permanently flattened.
Pete still has his pajama bottoms on. Stand up, Pete.
Stand up, Pete.
What?
Come on.
I've upgraded my streaming camera. We're gonna start using that next time.
Well, can you stand up for us though? Do you actually
No.
have pajamas on?
Oh, pajamas?
Yeah.
I am wearing I'm wearing slippers.
Damn it.
And you dress from the waist up, man. That's cool. But I wish you safe travels on the way home, guys, man.
Thanks, Pete.
Oh, man, why you got to put that Maloix on us?
Well, I'm just worried about you. You know, I know you're busting my balls, but I'm worried about you guys.
We got 2 big trucks, 2 big heavy trucks. We should be okay.
Yeah, they just impact harder.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with it, but I went over an overpass today, and I never touched the ground.
The 55 overpass? Yeah.
You know them
Bridges.
signs,
Yeah.
bridge freezes before road surface?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. It is true.
No,
I just
come on.
I was just driving, and all of a sudden the truck was just
Real.
floating.
It was loose.
Oh. And then when I got to the front of the lake here, from there to your garage.
Yeah.
Just skating.
Got loose.
Well,
I'll be all right.
Well, you guys were we were on break. I was talking with Al, and he's talking about like frostbite and how fast it can attack you at 30 degrees below zero.
What?
It's crazy. Like he's like they'd be out snowmobiling, going out to their ice fishing haunts, 2 feet of ice, you know, but they're running, and you don't know you have a seam in your helmet, you know, so that 32 degrees below zero is hitting your face, and you pull your helmet off, and like your buddy tells you, your whole cheek is black.
Yeah, the quickening.
You don't even feel it. It happens so fast at that temperature.
Yeah, as Ken Duke would say, that's uninhabitable.
That's bad. That's bad. I remember
Follow the buffalo south.
Yeah. This is good. This after that temperature and that story. This is going to sound pussyish, but I remember the classic on Lay Lake that I think Van Dam ended up winning that one. But I remember it was so cold the first morning of the tournament, and I wasn't prepared. Like it was the classic, so I wasn't thinking. But it was like a February tournament, and my one hand got so fucking cold. I lost feeling in my index finger and my pinky. And I didn't regain feeling for like a year and a half.
No.
My God.
So I had nerve damage, you know, but again, you know, like you're fishing, so you're into it, and you're like, you know, you're so into what you're doing, your adrenaline's flowing, you forget about the pain, you know? And then like a year and a half later, I still didn't feel.
And that's a lot for you, because earlier I slighted you by saying you don't take pain. But you know what? You can handle the elements fishing better than anyone I've ever been around.
That's true.
Dude. I got to take that back. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Yep. Little this, little that.
Great video you put together about how to dress for the cold.
Oh, did you like that, Pete?
I did.
Thank you.
I did. You know what it reminded me of?
Pete, you got to do a video on how to dress for not going out of the house.
Pete, I would like to see a
dress for
tutorial on
Zoom.
how you fetch your mail at 1 in the afternoon. Like what slippers do you have on? And do you put the jacket, or you keep your smoking coat on? Like, what do you do?
Hold on,
That's
go full screen, Pete.
You got to know how to live, brother.
Floor's yours.
But you know, it's funny, Mike. I was watching your stuff, and I remembered Melinda Mize. Like you stole that heating, like that back heating wrap.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You stole it, but I remember she was teaching us what she does about how to stay warm in the real cold conditions. She uses that back wrap.
Yeah.
That with the carbon heating stuff.
Yep.
Shout out to Melinda Mize.
I may have stole from her. I don't remember, but it's the deal. It is the
It
deal.
is.
Warm your core. Keep your core warm. Dude, you're warm.
Well, I mean, there's a reason in
Yeah,
between
right.
rounds. Like when a boxer, they put the ice on the spine for a reason. You know, like
Right.
it has everything to do with controlling your heat. And your,
Yeah,
and your
try that.
coolness.
Try that with my hands, dude. My shit goes numb.
Number.
Anyhow.
Anyhow. Dude, what a great show. I don't even know what else to say except
he's fun.
Freaking awesome
Gosh,
guest tonight.
is
dude.
there another Al Linder out there? How do we get another guest like that?
Nah, we got to go the other direction, dude. We got completely shit to bed. We're going to try next Sunday, guys. We're going to come back next Sunday. We're shooting for a really, really bad guest. Terrible show. No, seriously. In all honesty,
Stay tuned for
we have to reset the bar low and then come back up again. So, guys, look for it. Next show, terrible.
But wait, can we count back? Let's count back from Al. So we had Al Linder. Who do we have before that?
Byron
show was great.
No, let me, before you go any further.
Yeah.
I was looking back at that, and I wonder, is there anybody, like, dude, the going through how he came up fishing, how you came up, how Skeet came up.
Yeah.
Is anybody going, are these guys doing it that way? Is there anybody, like, building it that?
No.
I think they're mostly trust fund babies now.
No.
I mean, you know, there are some that are grinding. You know, certainly Carl's got a
Well,
great
you gotta
story
look at
coming
Carl
from the other side of the
Kalanick.
planet. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. There's just
I
so
don't
much
think
depth
so.
to his story, and
Dude, he was feeding stripper striper.
yeah, he was getting VIP at the club, walking in with a box of frozen stripers,
Striper.
And in a milk crate.
living in a Chevy Astro van for 9 years, dude.
And Skeet's not even getting the comfortable side of it.
Yeah, but you know what? Like I you know, I loved the show with Al tonight. It was a great
Oh, it
show.
was-
But I would have loved to, you know, got into his time with Tommy Martin and freaking
Dude, there's so much more.
dude, think about it, dude. They were Harold Allen, Tommy Martin, and Al Linder in their 20s,
Yep. David Wharton.
single
Yeah.
in Texas, oil money. Like, what
Yeah.
happened? I want to know.
His wife was watching.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, like, the stories. I'm just saying, the stories would have been great. you
Before
know?
Babe Winkleman bit his style.
Yeah, and the Babe Winkleman thing, too. Like, if we could have explored that a little bit. Like,
Swagger jacked.
I mean,
Jacked him.
you know. But it was an awesome night, and I'm glad we got to spend it with Al. That was fun.
Oh, dude.
So fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to go back to our underachieving, underperforming status.
Oh, yeah. We got to get this.
Or just ride out on top and call this the last one.
Yeah, just end it.
Let's just
we,
do it,
might,
dude.
we might end it.
I get to go
It's
outside.
like fake make an announcement and I'll just cut the show.
I know, but usually when we're saying it's the last show, we've said something or done something that's the show killer. You know what I mean? Like we've hit like some racism thing or
We
Allegedly.
Yeah.
yeah, or Dave.
Yeah, is this where you say we, but everyone's looking at me the
Yeah,
whole time?
everyone's like, yeah.
The joke went awry.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
that
you-
one went off course.
But you know, I will say something though, which is the show has gotten really good lately, and I'm not saying that just to pump us up. It has, and a very unique thing we have now that we didn't have for the last 7 years, which is I don't have an affiliation with any tournament circuit right now. So you know, we always hypothesizing about when can we just be free and spill the beans and not have any consequences. I think now's the time. Maybe we should have some of those shows, you know?
You ready to go back? We started out that way.
Yeah.
Like I remember being really nervous 7 years ago. Like, you know, I got to walk out of this room. I can't talk about this, you know. And then we kind of like stepped into the area of we got to watch.
Well, cancel culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we ready to go back?
Yeah. I don't know. I like the idea of tiptoeing around some of that stuff, you know? I think we can do it. I think we can do it. The one thing
That's all you, dude.
Yeah, well, the one thing we're doing that
I don't pay my bills with doing this stuff.
Yeah, the one thing that we're doing and I like, and I would love to hear from people what they think, is that we're not just covering tournament winners. You know, dude, when COVID hit, there's like a billion podcasts that popped up. Like there really is. And I'm not knocking any of them, but they're all the format's very much the same, you know? And I like that we're taking this venture now to hit other things besides who won the tournament.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
for sure.
and
Yeah.
I like that. I like what we're doing with that, you know. So
There's
it's
a
good thing.
lot. There's a lot we can do, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in.
It's a really good thing.
We've got a lot of. Go ahead, Pete.
I was just going to say one of Al's comments that was impactful and is worth repeating is that passion trumps everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, your business model, your, you know, whatever it is, it just, you know, passion and, you know, just that drive, it will overcome all obstacles in front of you.
Yep.
And that's what he did. He's done that more than once. And my gosh, you could see it in the interview tonight. There's a powerful force of a man and great comment and great advice.
Yep.
Yeah.
That and Sober Dave is no good on a podcast.
No, hold on.
Sober Dave.
You need to take that back. 'Cause
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're the one that lectures me about the things
I don't
say.
lecture. What? Stop it.
All right, then I got a speech tonight by this guy. So what am I supposed to do, man? Like, what do you guys want from me?
Dude, you need to go
Want me
live
get
on
whiskeyed up and say what I think, or I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be quiet. Like,
Should
what?
we smoke a couple cigars here today?
Yeah.
Maybe we should smoke some cigars.
That's what I'm wondering. I think Becky would kill me.
You think?
I don't know. Sure.
You think it'll soak into the cedar?
I don't
It
know.
smelled like Sherlock Holmes like place. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
You think?
Fire it up.
dude, the matches are like this long. I think you got to immerse the whole match into the tobacco while it's in
They're
there.
special matches, dude.
They're
You
long
got-
for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know any of that. I got to figure that out.
Yeah. I got.
Now that,
Open flame.
He's a good dude. Sean's a good guy.
now that you're live on, or now that you're on Instagram, you need to go live on your drive home. Make sure you get home safe.
Yeah, here's a
Oh, no.
live ice crash.
Watch me die.
I might go live in the woods tomorrow if I can figure out which button to push.
I'll tell you.
You should.
We'll see.
You taking Mel? Your good luck.
I'm going to bring her.
Yeah, Scotch Charm. That's cool.
Now, there's no squatches in the pines. If they are, I don't know.
So, do you think that it is an animal that lives on the planet, or is this some interdimensional being?
I don't know. See, here's what I don't know. Like, I'm going to tell you what. I don't know what it is.
Of course
and
you
know,
don't.
I'm not even sure it exists. Like, if God came down right now, and he's coming down, and I'm standing in the crowd, and I'm like, all right, is he looking at me? And he's like, you stupid, come here.
He would look a lot like Al Lindner.
He's
wouldn't
like,
he?
dude.
Tell me he wouldn't.
I don't know if he would look like that,
He
but
would
if he
look
said,
like-
look,
he
dude,
would
you
have
saw
that
a
beard.
bear walk across the road when you were 12. The howling video you make everybody suffer through was a half-retarded coyote. And if I see you show one more footprint, I'm going to punch you in the face. I'd say, all right, it don't exist, God. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Is Pornhub okay? You know, like- But until then, look, until then, I know what I saw, and I know what I heard, and I know what that activated. I know what I experienced in life in terms of adrenaline, and 99.9% of this population did not experience what I have in my life, and I know what that did to me when I heard that thing, dude.
Yeah.
So,
Brian,
whatever.
Brian, you gotta admit though, I shared an experience like that with you.
Oh yeah, we
in
saw some-
Alaska.
Oh, it was something.
And it was something.
It was absolutely
So
something.
there
was 3 of us there.
Right.
We all saw it.
Right.
And it's unexplainable.
No amount of marijuana can make you see something like that. All 3 of you. So
No amount of alleged marijuana.
But there's thousands of reports of what you guys saw. You didn't
correct.
just see it yourself,
Right.
and they all even describe the same tone that the light was, like an old-fashioned headlight, that light yellow light. Like they all describe the same color. You guys didn't see anything unique.
Hey, don't make it not special.
I'm just saying you're not crazy
Bullshit,
for
bro.
seeing it.
No, I'm just
You're
saying.
not crazy
I'm just saying.
for
Don't
seeing
say
it.
it ain't
That's all I'm
special.
saying.
I'm
just
special.
Like 1,000 people, a year see these damn things in the woods.
Right.
I don't know
You
about
know?
that.
Right.
Dude, you're not in the realm. You don't know.
In the realm.
In the realm.
Come get into the realm.
I feel kind
I thought for sure Al was going to come on with a story. I knew. I asked him that question. I'm like, he lives up in northern Minnesota. He's had to have
Most
a
people
story,
don't want the
you know?
ridicule, dude. I didn't talk about it for years, man. I didn't talk about it most of my life till I got old enough to be like, I don't care. This is what I saw.
You don't care. You don't
This
care
is the real
anymore.
me.
No, out of the closet.
Coming out of the closet.
Listen, Greg DePalma just saw one in Florida. All right,
Skunk ape.
he saw the skunk ape.
Did he?
Did he?
You guys don't. So here's something, Pete. Here's funny. So I'm just learning this Instagram, and I get this from Greg DePalma skunk ape video sent to me, and I think it's Greg sending it to me because I don't know, but it's Justin Kimmel sending it to me on behalf of Greg. So I'm like, so I'm interviewing Justin about the sighting.
I'm interviewing.
I'm trying to get details, And like, it just seemed like I'm like, did he fucking see this? Like, what is he? I didn't realize I was interviewing the wrong guy. He's like, he's like, I didn't see it. Like, I'm just sending you his. I'm like, oh man.
No, it could be tricky.
Yeah, I was like, I got old, man.
Let me give you a piece of advice. Yeah. If allegedly a buddy sends you like, one of them DMs of somebody else's stuff and it's a hot girl and you comment on that shit, don't comment on the little line below the picture because that shit's going to her. Allegedly.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. So who knows
who got trickery?
Who knows who
That's
got
what I heard from somebody.
Who knows who got my
one
Sasquatch,
of Rich's buddies.
My Sasquatch interview probably went to everyone. I don't even know it. Wrong guy. Wasn't even the eyewitness.
All right, here's a quick survey for everybody on this panel. I want to start with Riz. We'll go to Pete, and we'll just keep going down. Who is the winner of the St. John's BASS event tomorrow? Riz?
Man, I think I got to go with Patrick Walters on this just because of the hot hand and the way that he's catching fish lately. He seems to be a little bit ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to bet against that guy right now.
Right.
But
Pete
he's
Guzik?
scary. Greg Hackney's scary. It's going to be an awesome tournament.
All right.
I don't know the weather tomorrow, so I'm hesitant, but I'm going to comment without looking at the weather. The weather benefited Patrick's sniping plan, that forward-facing sonar thing that he's been probably trying to rock for the last 3 days, but he got it nailed today with the rain and all that stuff. And I'm sure that's not going to exist tomorrow. It's probably going to be sunny. Hackney's fishing the bank for spawners, and he has got an area that they're moving on to spawn. And it was really cool to see him again in that format. I'm going for Hackney.
All right, Brian Carpenter.
I'll tell you after the game.
All right. Dave, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I'm going to say Greg DePalma. That's the only one I know who's fishing it.
All right, Greg DePalma.
Did he make the cut?
No, he didn't make the cut,
No, all right.
but he could possibly win somehow.
Maybe he's fishing.
If he weighs in his skunk ape.
Yeah, I'm going with one of the rookies. I'm going with Brian New.
Oh my!
For the win.
He's the truth.
He is the truth.
Killer.
Not show up to just take part in this whole. That dude
Did
is-
Lunkers make the cut?
Who?
He fished a different one. Lunkers TV. Didn't he fish that event?
He came in 172nd, Dave.
Oh, well.
Out of 160.
I'm sure he beat a few people.
He hasn't fished the tournament yet, has he?
Yeah.
He did.
Legit? I thought the tournament wasn't until like March or something.
That was last week. He came in. He had a good tournament.
Florida's tough, man. If you're not from Florida, your first tournament, you don't want your first big tournament to be in Florida in the wintertime, dude.
Unless you're from Florida.
Dave, you said a mouthful.
You cannot judge anybody on that.
That's a
Riz.
humbling experience.
You know, I got sick of people coming across that stage today saying how bad they suck in Florida. That was like so redundant. I watched the weigh-in. Everybody was like, "Oh, I've never scored a point in Florida. I never catch them in Florida." It was.
Don't you think it's hard down there though, Pete, in the winter?
I suck in Florida. That's what I would say, but I just got tired of hearing it.
It's unique, man.
I'm sure
It's very challenging. I've been on them so good at practice that this tournament's locked up, and then
Front
it
blows
just
in.
you can't stay with them. It's so hard,
Unless you're fishing the place that I fished the last day that I was in Florida, which is the single one. I put it in my top 5 of the single best places I've ever fished in my life.
What coast was it?
The headwaters?
It was north central Florida.
Okay.
Near Lake City, Florida.
Pit mine?
It was.
Yeah.
It was actually a 3,500 acre track that had, I bet you it had 60 old phosphate pits on it, from 30 acres to 1,000 acres in size. And the fishing was just ungodly. In 5.5 hours of fishing, I caught 67. I landed 67. I had a 9.9, a 7.13, a 7.8, a 7.1, a 6.
Kayak or on land?
A bass boat.
Oh, okay.
But, dude, it's amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing. And,
private, or is it a private place?
It's a private place.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually for sale, though. And you know, we
How
were
much?
we were joking earlier with Al, you know, about like a place. if I could get investors, I think they want 11 mil for it, but I think you can get them down under 10
How
mil.
many acres?
3,500 acres.
Oh wow.
But no lodge, like you'd have to put another
No
5.
infrastructure.
You'd have to put another 5 mil into it. You know, you'd be 20 mil in before you could turn it on. You know?
Wigwams.
But if anybody's watching that's got 20 mil to spare, call me.
Wow.
We'll make it happen.
33,500
Yeah, that. I mean,
acres.
yeah, we need
3,500 acres. Yeah.
seriously. We need like an investor with about 10 to 20 mil and
Yeah.
an intern. So guys.
And an intern that works.
Yep.
So Cherry Hill's about 33,000 acres. Give you an idea how big 3,500 acres is.
Is it really that small? Cherry Hill's only that?
Yeah.
Damn.
How much did Al get for In-Fisherman? Let's call him back.
Maybe we should call Al back.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to go south. He's tired
He's
of
ready.
You gotta
Mary,
figure if the guy
Mary,
that owned
come on.
T-Bop magazine came, you'd at least want to meet Kurt Cameron with him or something like that.
Strong pull, dude.
I mean, come on, dude.
Cameron.
He was on the cover of every one of those things in the
Stop
80s,
it.
dude.
You haven't popped enough brain cells. Come on, have a drink.
With those baby
Cameron.
blues.
How do you remember that?
Dude, speaking of the 80s, so Becky and I started doing those lives like every weekend, and
That's why you got a pipe and a guitar.
yeah, and the dude recommended
Oh,
like
Christ, you're playing
the
a
one
guitar?
the one thing the one thing we had was what shows should we be watching, and they turned us on to the Cobra Kai.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I
You
just
should
started
have been
watching.
watching
I'm about-
Cobra
No,
Kai.
but I'm about 2 seasons in now.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking good.
Season
Good,
3
good.
kind of falls off.
Hold
Does
on.
it?
Hold on.
Yeah.
You gave season 2 good?
Season 1 and 2.
Season
are
1
good.
was good. After that, it got stupid.
Season 3 is
Nah.
pretty bad.
No, I'm in 2 right now. It's good.
I like 2. I don't have nothing bad to say about 2.
All right.
I think it's great.
I thought it was childish.
What?
3 gets worse.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Well,
was
don't
go- I was
spoil
go-
it for me
No,
here.
no. But I do have some breaking news. Al Lindner did not come up with Lake X. That was Carl, Kiekenhofer, founder of Mercury. Sorry, Al.
Okay.
Wah, wah, wah.
Dude, Mike, you got to
Can
get in. Sorry. You got to get in Yellowstone, dude.
Yellowstone?
It's like Montana Mafia Ranch, dude. Guys, man, it's badass. Yellowstone is legit.
I heard that's
That
good.
might be the next one.
Yellowstone's solid, bro. I got the Paramount Network so I could see season 3.
Yeah, see,
I never watched another thing on it again.
Yeah, I wanted to see that, but I'd have to pay for it. I can't get nobody in the
First
house.
2
to
seasons are
commit
on
to it.
Prime. First 2 seasons are on Prime.
Oh, I don't have that either.
All right, almost everybody does. Everybody has Amazon Prime to get the
Oh, yeah, I
shit,
got
you
that.
know? Yeah, then you got to dial it in. You got it for free.
Right.
It comes with your Amazon Prime. Yeah.
We're missing the OC. Mike, you gonna buy the card?
Yeah, let's buy the card. Fuck it.
Can you get it here?
Sure.
All right, guys, we gotta go.
All right. Let me thank everybody tonight for watching. This was an amazing night. This was a life-changing experience for me. Want to thank Al Linder, our guest tonight.
Yes.
Also want to thank everybody here in studio. Dave Brodzik, thank you, Dave, for coming, bearing the ice.
Brian the
The
Carpenter.
Icy Roads. Brian the Carpenter, producing a great show. Of course, Rizzo. Thanks, Riz, for shooting through all those IMs. And Pete Glusick, the Dean, for some great insight tonight.
No offense to Al Linder, but Ken Duke is the best writer. Go ahead.
Ken Duke's a pretty good writer, too. Yeah.
Why is everyone sucking up to Ken Duke tonight? Who is he? Why are you guys so?
Who is he? Dave said, who is he?
Why are you guys? Everyone's kissing.
Nobody's sucking up to him. He's
Like
a good
55
guy.
times.
Man.
man.
Take it
He's the
easy.
authority.
You shut the hell up.
he
about
is
that.
the authority.
Mentioned Becky
He's the
twice.
man.
Mentioned Ken Duke 55 times.
What happened to your microphone? That's what happens.
Oh, Dave got his mic cut off like Ed Bassmaster.
Yeah.
Hope you had fun watching tonight. Hope you have a great weekend. And stay tuned for the next Ike Live. It's going to suck really bad.
That's
compared
right.
to this.
Yep, next Sunday.
Yes, next Sunday. It's going to suck really bad.
That's right.
Good night,
right.
everybody. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Not solely to entertain, but more importantly, to show you, step by step, the whys, wheres, and hows of successful angling. The Facts of Fishing Show, hosted by nationally known guide, fishing instructor, tournament angler, and tackle manufacturer Al Lindner. Each week, Al will act as your guide and reveal to you the many secrets, tricks, and new in-depth methods to help you fill your stringer on your own favorite lakes. He won't be flying into the Arctic Circle nor chopping his way into a southern swamp. Instead, the program is designed not solely to entertain, but more importantly to show you, step by step, the whys, wheres, and hows